So this is Earth. This is our planet. And the truth is, if we don't do something to clean this planet up, it will actually begin to kill all of us off. Hello everybody, I'm David Sponheim, running for president in 2016. This is Truth Tuesday, and we are going to be talking about some of the heavier issues facing the country right now. Possible talk of war in Syria, constantly mulling through the media, propaganda, talking points about attacking a country like Syria. It doesn't make sense. Everyone who's looking at all the photographs and information is limited in how much they can see because there's not a lot of photos or video released on the event in Paris, the attack. And many people are still assuming, the mainstream media says that they're looking for one last person, but none of the people are here to interview. We can't talk to anybody. They're all dead. And the perpetrators are dead too, except for this one lone wolf who's gotten away. Doesn't this sound like a script for a movie? It does, because it sounds a little too pat. I don't know if you've heard the expression pat. It's not Pat, I'm Pat, from the Saturday Night Live fame. It's a pat thing. Everything's all fitting into place. It's too perfect. There's even the talk about that woman who was killed. Her mother called in prior, went right out at the Bataclan Theater concert hall. The mother had called right after the attack and talked to the girl's boyfriend or brother. We're not sure. But he said she was fine. And then later, the report from the government was that she had been killed. And some people are putting two and two together and coming up with four. A simple logical process. Were 53 people rounded up and killed by Mossad? I mean, these are allegations that are like freaking people out. Was this a Mossad, CIA, French intelligence op to start a war in Syria, to blame it on Muslims, and then to open up our borders and allow Syrians to just flow in here? 125,000, that's how many Barack Obama wants to bring into our country. And we don't know who these people are. Republicans in the House are trying to vet these people and put together legislation that'll vet them. But the American people are freaking out. We didn't ask for any of this. And when you look at the policies of Obama, Hillary Clinton, during that time period when they funded the rebels of $500 million, they're not idiotic at all. You know that the CIA and the Mossad actually met, along with French intelligence, 2 weeks before the event? That's true. You know that there was a common tweet that went out with the exact number of dead 2 days before it happened? How would a Twitter message have the same number? Now, albeit they were sending out messages that the same number of people were dying from Ebola as well. But it was that same number that the media reported were dead. How did they know that 2 days in advance? So, with a lack of information, that's true. With foreknowledge, 2 weeks ahead of secret intelligence forces meeting, much like they met prior to Princess Diana dying in Paris. It's interesting to note that Dodi Fayyad's father was actually, he spent $6 million investigating this and found out that British Royal Intelligence was in Paris 2 or 3 days before Princess Di died. These are things that just don't make sense, folks, okay? They don't make sense. Why would there be such a staging of the event? So that's what's raising concern right now. A lot of people are going, well, we don't want to be lulled into a war with Syria over some terrorist act. And another interesting fact, when you look for the names of all these people, 129 people dead, and along with all the injured, the names aren't there. They show you a picture portrayal of 53 people. I counted them. 2 of which was that girl and her brother who died, even though he was called after the Bataclan Theater event, and the mother said that Yeah, so the whole these things just don't make any sense. All right, so let's talk about what's going on with this Chicago PD situation. It turns out that Rahm Emanuel was having issues with his political run in Chicago, and he didn't want that video released. Now, this guy was shot, 14 times? 16 times? And the video is so harsh that I dare not even play it right now. But it's something I haven't seen. But it's arousing extreme anger among the Chicago people who are African American, who felt that this is another crime that is still not being answered. And everyone, including Jesse Jackson, is calling for a calm. And I would urge everyone to at least get a chance to speak out on this issue. All right. They're protesting. Silverstack says he's in Chicago, Chi-Town. They're protesting. They're in Chicago right now. We're gonna ask all the people that are interested in knowing more about what we're doing at America's Third Party to, just think about telling everybody you can about a growing third party. It's something that I've asked everybody to do in the show for the past 7 years. It's a tradition for me to ask people to just spread the word. Because I know a lot of you don't have a lot of money to donate. I know that. I know a lot of you don't really have the focus to go to our website and print out a poster, because we can do that. You can definitely promote us that way. AmericasThirdParty.com has a really cool website. But the thing that I'm promoting is a centrist party in the middle of the political spectrum that brings the left and the right together. My biggest conflict when I was a Democrat for 30 years was how the Democrats weren't behaving democratically. They weren't even opening discussions to other people. And now they're clinging to power and never questioned Barack Obama. So this is your chance to join the voter revolt and to become part of a new direction where we can unite somewhere in the middle of the political spectrum on many issues. Okay, Silverstack says thugs in Chicago have no reason to protest. The family was given a $5 million settlement. That's right. And the officer was charged with first-degree murder. Absolutely no reason to riot. Exactly. But they'll pick a reason. There are people, there are factions out there like George Soros, who would gladly pay rioters like he did in Ferguson, St. Louis, to go gather, and he probably will. He's probably organizing an Occupy Chicago movement right now as we speak, just to take advantage of the press time. There are people, elements within our society that want to foment anger and hostility between the races. They race bait. It happened to me. I simply did an impersonation video of Barack Obama in 2008, and you can see it in the picture there, because that's from last night, by the way. These shows are, I really look blitzed in that picture, don't I? Yeah, and I don't call that race baiting. I was simply impersonating the president. How else was I going to do it? In whiteface? It's not offensive to me. I'm not offended by blackface. I'm rather entertained. Al Jolson was one of the greatest entertainers of all times. And you know something? He paved the way for African American entertainment today as we know it. Without the blackface artists and minstrels of the 1920s and 30s, you never would have seen some of the greatest musicians in the black entertainment field rise to power. Mike Brown. There you go. Okay. Bottom line, though, is having done a blackface video and being falsely labeled a racist, it puts me in an interesting position because I can talk to both sides of the political spectrum on this issue. People that feel like they are racist and people that are morally against a freedom of speech because they don't want anyone to speak out about anything. So I can somehow bridge the gap between the people that the communist Democrats who want to impose their will upon the freedoms that our country has been founded on, and the people on the right, the reactionaries who are just fed up with everything and willing to, arm themselves to protect their families. So I walk the line, and it's a nice place to walk, I'll tell you. It's a good place I'm in. Yeah, he was a good singer, Brown was. And many people don't know that his actual his ascent to power as a musician came from doing blackface. And he was a black guy. One of the greatest. vaudeville musicians, and he transitioned and brought in all the greats like Sammy Davis Jr. It paved the way for these guys that became the greatest musicians of our time, really, when you think about it. And now you see an entire industry of rap with a lot of roots. A lot of those guys that did blackface, Al Jolson, were Jewish. And a lot of the entertainment industry is dominated by Jewish men. I'm serious. Who are pushing for African Americans to get more power and money through rap and entertainment. If we had an Arab president, I would have done an Arab impersonation, but he pretended to be a Christian black guy, and I thought that was better if I went with a Christian black ethos. But you're right. It would have been better if I had done him in Arabic. That would have been a better Obama impersonation. Well, let's be clear. I'm not here to target anybody. I was never here to target the idea of what Obama has become. I was merely trying to show you what he was and always has been. A flim-flam artist, a liar, a deceiver, a person who reads off of a teleprompter. That's what I was conveying in that impersonation video. Well, excuse me, but claiming that's just inappropriate. I will definitely purge or ban people if you feel like it's your chance to demoralize me. I don't really achieve anything that way in our show. We've got so many things happening in the world that I can't really spend time talking about your personal problem, whether it's jealousy or whatever is going on in your head, buddy. The shocking truth is unfolding. Matt Drudge teases a bombshell claim about U.S. and Islamic State. Wow. See, Matt Drudge has been in the news recently because TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, that Donald Trump doesn't know, has nothing to do with China. Everything to Donald Trump is about China. But Trans-Pacific Partnership has another negative aspect, and that is it's going to literally shut down our ability to communicate. And the idea of copyright becomes overwhelming control and censorship. And Matt Drudge talked about that, how it's affecting his site, the Drudge Report, the TPP passing by Obama. And I'm against TPP altogether. Not because it helps China. It's irrelevant at this point. Okay, by not voting for TPP, somehow I'm helping China. It's not the case at all. What we're trying to do is bring back the truth. And here's the shocking truth. Matt Drudge teases a bombshell claim. He says, a shocking truth is unfolding. America has been arming ISIS. I've been saying this for about 2.5 years now, since the ISIS thing happened. It's a developing story. Well, I'm glad Matt Drudge finally caught up to my show. Cool. Alarming, isn't it? What about Peyton Manning? Whoa, we've got a lot of... You've taken a new tactic, yeah. Dangerous fantasist. That's funny. Well, apparently I'm the only guy who's able to do any kind of impersonations of Barack Obama because everyone else is scared crapless. A lot of people are just jumping into the hole, and they figure, well, I think it's time to just be lemmings and just jump into the hole. But I'm coming out of the hole and I'm fighting my way through the thicket of stupidity in this country to try to bring you cutting-edge, live, interactive virtual chat. I'm going to keep doing my thing. You're Mr. Host. Thank you, Mr. One Awake. Yeah, well, we've got a lot of people with white guilt. That's one of the reasons why Barack Obama became so successful. Yeah, Snappy. TPP is going to force Drudge off the net. Barack Obama became very, very successful because a lot of white people feel they feel like somehow they're to blame for the plight of black African American people. They feel like, at least by voting for Barack Obama, they felt that they would give them a chance to do something. And what they got was a guy who just loves money. And, during the 2012 race, he and Mitt Romney talked about how they both have Cayman Island accounts. So, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that this has been a disaster for our country. It's turned our country upside down with their Cayman Island accounts. siphoning money to those Cayman Island accounts. I mean, the worst possible people are running our country right now. And they're pretending like, well, let's be clear. We're doing the right thing by pushing democracy in Syria. And we're going to continue to send troops, and we'll send your family members off to die. Because we're going to keep trying to. So what's the end game in Syria, and why are they doing this? Syria has an area at the base that it would be perfect for a pipeline through Turkey. And they want to use that area in Syria to make a pipeline. This is a 40-year plan that the Council on Foreign Relations have been put in play. They're still implementing that plan, which is absurd. They never check and balance. There's no questioning and monitoring. I do not hate black people. I actually have historically, I've had some really good friends who are black. Historically. But you lose touch with people, you know. They're off in New York shooting a picture. I don't talk to them anymore. You know, I was in a situation where I knew the costume designers, I should say, for White Men Can't Jump. And I've never really taken a jump ever since I, heard about that movie, White Men Can't Jump. So I'm trying to avoid, being prosecuted. But when they made that movie, I never said, excuse me, but hey, isn't that a little racist? To say white men can't jump? If that said black men can't do something, it would be different. So I've always been very, I'm trying to work toward integration. And, they have every right to say that in a movie. And we could easily create the white college fund. It wouldn't matter. But we're not here to separate the races. That's the point. We're here to bring people together and communicate. Not just keep it all held inside and see racial profiling going on in the streets of Chicago. And people like Rahm Emanuel keeping it on the lowdown with $5 million deal set aside to not talk about it. And black people want to talk about it. That's why Black Lives Matter is such a big, important part in this upcoming election. Bernie Sanders wouldn't even let him talk. Or he kind of reeled from the whole stage in Seattle and says, oh, I can't go there. All I'm saying is we have to stop telling people what to do. The government has to back off of the individual. And people, we don't need street cops with speed guns and little fines, parking tickets everywhere, ruining the economy, taxing everywhere, ruining the opportunity for you to spend money in your pockets because they're siphoning it out of you. We're not helping the average American get out of this situation. And even the top economic specialists, like Christine Lagarde of the IMF, she actually says that the real problem is the poor people don't have enough money. Well, then make a loan. I mean, it's that simple. What the hell? So we've got a plan to actually get everybody a $1,000 micro loan to get this country jump-started. It's a completely different concept than anything our president or any past president has ever done. And what I'm hoping to do is give everybody in America who's a citizen a $1,000 opportunity to get a loan and start a small business. Calling me a racist is like, I'm an integrationist, man. I've never said a racial slur in my life. I have no idea what you're saying. Did I really meet a black person for 5 minutes in 1992? I've met black people all my life. What are you talking about, man? Holy crap. I'm telling you, I knew the costume designer for White Men Can't Jump. I thought it was pretty amazing. It was like, wow, really? And they're a couple wonderful people. Mother and son. They both did that movie. And the costumes were pretty cool. The short basketball kind of, that's tough to do, to make costumes for a basketball show. Okay. Davis is without a rave is a party waiting to happen. Yeah, totally. I don't think segregation is the way, but I don't want to force integration. But, there are a lot of black people that don't want to be, part of white people. There's a lot of anger. We've seen a lot of anger in our country, and it's not making people feel better to to be forced into something they don't want to do. People only improve themselves when they have an opportunity to get better. If they don't have an opportunity, then it just doesn't happen. It's if we don't provide basically jobs for the minorities in cities around the country, we're going to have civil unrest. It's just a fact of life. So because Obama hasn't done anything and George W. Bush didn't do anything, we're going to at least face the tragic reality that we got to at least offer people a way out. So I have a plan to also bring in cops on the street working in playgrounds with kids in sports and various activities, and developing a youth group that will be set up as potentially, local law enforcement, kind of like the ROTC. But not a civilian police force, nothing like that. Just kind of like a startup for kids who don't want to go to gangs, who want to, emulate some of the cops in the area who are on the beat, talking to people on a daily basis. It's kind of like Boy and Girl Scouts without the gay twist. Yeah, I don't think we're going to encourage this transgenderism like Obama's been doing. It's kind of screwing our country up royally. I don't mind talking about sex, but to turn our whole show into sex, talk about transgenderism is just not appropriate. So we're going to get more serious now and enter a different part of our show. Well, you wouldn't be able to do that because right now the goal is to have a better country, and we're not going to be able to get a better country if we don't talk about it. David, why do dark-skinned Indians come to America and open businesses and go to school succeeding while blacks blame racism due to skin color? It all started in the White House. Ronald Reagan, started giving away lots of really nice toys to the Arabs. In 1982, I believe, Charlie Wilson's War, you started to see a different White House. This is Ronald Reagan and Charlie Wilson meeting with the Mujahideen. They started giving him Laz rockets and SAM missile systems, and eventually low-cost refugee pay and guaranteed $10,000 loans for opening up gas stations and Motel 6s. And pretty soon our country has been dominated by people coming in from other countries, capitalizing on our lax refugee laws and benefits. They teach people in countries like Pakistan how to manipulate our system. That's why you ain't getting nothing. That's why blacks aren't getting anything either. The problem is we're not helping people along here. People from other countries see this as a great opportunity to screw our nation over and take advantage of Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is just a mindless, punch-drunk guy who can't even, figure anything out. He's just like a mechanical machine. He just hits the air and, writes his checks and sends money to Alabama, and some people collect 3 welfare checks. I'm going to limit that to 1 welfare check per household. Hello there, Hannibal. 1 welfare check per household is a modification in the coding and programming in Alabama that will give people warning, but the biggest check will arrive. All the other little checks won't be arriving. So you may want to change your mortgage on your Esplanade or something, so you may not be able to pay for your Esplanade if grandma and the family are all collecting or not collecting. Okay, well, no, I don't believe that. It's not a work ethic. Don't denigrate anybody of color in my room. All right? Thank you. I want that to be said, because I don't want you to think for a second this is some sort of a racist free-for-all for you to just crap all over anybody that you want. It's just not right. All right? I'm against the Syrian refugees coming into our country. I will never allow political refugees to come into our country until we have that 1,000-mile fence built that I suggested in 2008. When Donald Trump stole my idea and is running with it as if it's his, then he doesn't know how to implement it. I know how to implement it. I know it will work. Right now, we don't have any safeguard to prevent hordes of people, whether they're Syrians coming up through Mexico, or they're South Americans coming up through Mexico, or they're Paraguayans, or they're even possible Eastern Europeans. There's a lot of those. Bulgarians coming up through Mexico, pretending to be Mexican. We're getting an unbelievable influx. And I think what's going on is, you know how you set the pins up to knock it down when you're bowling with the bowling ball? Well, they're setting the pins up for our country to have a crisis. And this is the beginning of that crisis. This all started in 1981, 82. So that's what's happening. So I brought you into the White House of tomorrow to look at the White House of yesterday. Isn't that nice? It's kind of a cool little effect. So let's fade out on Ronnie. I'm sure he was talking about absolutely nothing. He was like, well, I'm sure there are jelly beans somewhere around for some of you people. Do you eat jelly beans? I mean, he absolutely had no idea what was going on. But somehow he was talked into working with the Mujahideen, which led to this whole crisis in Afghanistan, Iraq, you name it. No matter how you look at it, the New World Order started here in this meeting room with Ronald Reagan being the puppet for our government instead of acting like a president and negotiating with Russia. We literally gave these people Laz rockets, heat-seeking missiles, SAM missiles, that literally took out 17,000 Russians. Young Russian men died because of what happened in this room right here. So let's remake history, shall we? And bring on a brand new White House. Okay. Yeah, so I'm definitely concerned about people coming in and getting refugee pay, guaranteed $10,000 loans. I mean, these are things that have enraged me for the past 8 years. That's why we have another plan besides the $1,000 micro loan program. I want to bring that on the screen so you can remember that. Let me start with that. I'll get to the other plan. But yeah, 1,000 micro loans will not be given out to non-U.S. citizens. So anybody even with a green card won't collect that. Okay, let's take a look here. Trojan horse in our country. Ron Helix believes that all of the illegals are right. Someone is having a situation like. Okay, great. I'm not really sure how it's like her story, but thank you. Yeah, it is a Trojan horse. And, you know, if they come in and they just literally camp out in your neighborhood like they're going to do in my neighborhood, anything can happen, you know? There's a situation. I was at a restaurant today, and I saw a person who looked very much like someone you'd see with an IED strapped on their back in Iraq. You know, I wasn't prejudging the person, but there was something really dark and weird about the whole thing. It just felt weird. I felt like I was in the middle of the green zone. And I've never been to the green zone. And I was in a local restaurant. So you're going to start feeling that feeling. It's going to get really weird for a lot of you, because when you had that over there, it was antiseptic. It was kept over there. Okay, this is confirmed. 8 Syrians caught at the Texas border in Laredo, folks. Here it is. Thank you. Thanks for that post, Hannibal. Silverstack, I don't believe the $15 an hour for burger flippers in Chi-Town is going to work. It's not working in Seattle at restaurants. The Seattle mayor won't even openly acknowledge the failure of the $15 per hour wage. The living wage that they're asking for at burger joints can't be sustained in our economy. Sales at burger places are dropping left and right. McDonald's is planning on closing 600 across the nation. It's just not good. So converging a living wage request from a bunch of liberals at this point is not really a plan at all. We have a plan to get an infrastructure bank going, giving 2% loans out to U.S. businesses, hiring U.S. citizens. at a living wage of $15 an hour. Now that keeps illegals out of the scenario. See, I'm pretty tough on illegals and non-U.S. citizens. I'm not going to give them a free ride. But you see, people are perceiving me as some sort of a right-winger like Donald Trump, and I'm not totally off on the right-wing land. I don't want to have Muslims have ID badges. I'm not Adolf Hitler, okay? But we definitely want to limit the illegal immigration of political refugees into our country. That's really crazy. So here they are. They're coming in. 2 federal agents operating under the umbrella of U.S. Customs and Border Protection are claiming that 8 Syrian illegal aliens attempted to enter Texas from Mexico in the Laredo sector. So there it is. I don't make anything. I retired. I just focus on running for office now on a line 4 hours a night talking to you guys. I'm not a person who's into money. Unlike every other person out there running. And some can't even handle their finances. You know, Marco Rubio's can't recall what he did with the credit card receipts for the Republican Party when they gave him all kinds of free money. I don't think you've got one good money manager among any of the Republicans. It doesn't seem like any of them are making any money. And don't tell me Donald Trump made that money. He can't prove he made that money. He borrowed $10 billion. That much I could definitely say about Donald Trump. If he has $10 billion, he borrowed it. But do we really want a beggar, a borrower, as a president? That's a mistake. He's never dealt with the bankruptcies properly. He had to borrow money to get through those. So there you go. Rudy Giuliani says Obama created ISIS. Now this is coming from a guy who didn't even give the people in New York face masks when they were cleaning up one of the worst air pollution disasters in U.S. history. Well, you know, I tend to agree with him because I've been saying that for all along for the past 2.5 years that Obama created ISIS. So I'm not going to argue with Rudy Giuliani, but I'm a little bit concerned that this guy may be, you know, throwing Obama under the bus. No pun intended. It just seems a little bit convenient for them to just dump it on Obama. You know? It's like, me lady doth protest too much? Do you think Rudy Giuliani's throwing the smell or the scent off of the 9/11 group? Because he's part of that little 9/11 cadre. Thanks for that link, Scissor Fight. I'm not taking part in any Vaughn Christmas videos. No, not part of a gathering. If you can take any one of my videos, even my Christmas video, and hack it together, I give you full license to do that. Just keep the basic theme and the concept and the syntax together. You know, don't take one word and splice it with another and have me say something I didn't say. But yeah, feel free. Go to YouTube and just start hacking away and playing with it. Hey, you guys can do whatever you want with my videos. You can even multicast me if you want. No, I'm not aware of the statement you just made, Guest 296. Well, Rudy Giuliani, I mean, gosh, the guy who literally was there when they said pull it on 9/11. I'm a little concerned that we've got a situation on our hands here. Okay. Not sure what that was. Talking about genital mutilation, the truth about genital mutilation. You know, I've always felt that the parents should make that decision, being they're responsible for their children. You're sort of multicasting, cool. All right. Yeah, he does seem a little bit suspicious. Now, you guys do remember that 9/11, we do talk about 9/11 on Truth Tuesday, so it's fitting that I should at least address the issue, even remotely. The problem with 9/11 is there are so many big questions that are still being asked, especially starting with the Pentagon and what happened to the Pentagon and how it was struck by something. Here's an actual, let me start with a jet hitting a huge cement wall, very similar to the side of a building. Check this out.
Themselves. Time for a new test using an F-4 Phantom jet. The US government wanted to test what would happen if a plane crashed into the concrete walls of a nuclear power station. The jet sets off, bolted to a track to prevent takeoff. It's doing 500 miles an hour. The plane atomized with the impact. It just disappeared into dust. Only the tips of the wings escaped total destruction. But the wall, designed to move and absorb energy, did its job well. When dealing with nuclear material, no test can ever be too drastic.
All right, so 10,000 architects got together and decided that there's no way those planes took those buildings down. Yes, I do use the biodome in the wintertime. I'm growing cherry tomatoes and nasturtiums because I love eating edible flowers. That's all that I can really grow. It's not that useful. You can germinate, but there's certain limitations. You can germinate, but if you really want to grow, you have to have a lot of sunlight. And I don't have a lot of sunlight here. We have limits on our sunlight. We're in the Northwest. We're getting hosed with chemtrails, and they're bringing all the water that they normally would put in the California desert. They're bringing it up here so that they can dry out California even more, weakening our country. We're under attack, folks. Our country is under attack. That's the truth. I don't have to go into details beyond that, but we have an internal problem within our government. It's called corruption. And I have great knowledge about everything 396. I have also an intrinsic knowledge that I follow. It's almost like a universal thinking logic structure, which I follow. I analyze everything using a barometer of questions. Occam's razor is one of the question philosophies I use. Dave, why are you talking about things you have no real knowledge of? We'll go back to that. HSBC said to start 2,000 job cuts in commercial banking unit. HSBC is feeling the punch of the $1.6 billion charge of being involved in the Libor scandal, which didn't really punish very many people. Nobody got stung in that deal. The Libor scandal is now history, but HSBC is now starting the job cuts, 2,000 job cuts in commercial banking. They've got to absorb the loss somehow. And remember, I said the middle management now is going to be disappearing. A lot of people are going to be laid off. Now, I don't have to have knowledge about HSBC to tell you that's going to happen. The inflated economy is contracting. Global economic collapse. And it's slowly happening in some of the big institutions that are the greediest of all, holding together kind of a network of greed in Wall Street. 10,000 architects, every one of them, nothing to do with the climate change summit. None of them signed on that. But every one of those architects were convinced, Snappy, that you cannot take down 2 buildings, let alone 3, with jets. It can't be done. Those buildings, the World Trade Center, were built to stand a 707 hitting them, which is not that much smaller than a 737. So everything points to that.
And we're learning thousands of Honeywell employees aren't just being forced to take unpaid leave. Many are about to lose their jobs.
Honeywell's
ABC 15's Nohelani Graff is live outside the Aerospace Center in Phoenix. And Nohe, you got your hands on an email that just went out today.
Steve, you know Honeywell not just keeping a tight lock on its facilities, but its employees as well. I tried to question several here today who simply said, I don't know what you're talking about, but tonight a whistleblower has come forward with these emails that might as well be pink slips for about 1,000 people right here in the Valley.
They're very retaliatory on whistleblowers, and they'll go out of their way to ruin a person's life.
But this whistleblower says people need to know about the tough conversations thousands of Honeywell employees are being forced to have at home. They're about to lose their jobs.
What can save them is if somebody inside the group that's close to retirement or that could retire right now would take that golden parachute and leave.
According to an internal email, workers can volunteer to leave by early December. By January, about 1,000 will be laid off just in the valley.
They're going to start with the people that are on a performance improvement plan.
This employee.
This is Sarah, by the way. Hi. We are definitely concerned about layoffs, of course, across the board. If we offer businesses, U.S. businesses like Honeywell, a U.S.-based business, our 2% loan opportunity, that would give people a chance to hire U.S. citizens. David, do you agree the powers to be are trying to create a war and starting in Syria, World War III? I totally agree, CIA bloopers. CIA bloopers is questioning the origin of this war. It seems like they're starting something. They've been working on it for about 2.5 years. They've been starting with the seeding rebels to invade Syria, which is violating the sovereign space of Syria. They started that 2.5 years ago, and then recently got to 500 million a year ago. And then they used all that along with a procurement order for Toyota trucks to give them to an organization which somehow lost them to ISIS. We're not sure how that happened, but you saw ISIS with all those new Toyota trucks the government ordered. Yeah, those are your tax dollars going into a propaganda video claiming that ISIS was coming out. And all these videos that they've been making of beheadings, they're so poorly done that they actually were looking for a video producer recently online. Scissor Fight found a CIA request for a video producer to replace the one that they definitely didn't like, obviously. Green screen work has to be done properly. And obviously they had the wrong guy to fake the terrorist attacks. Yeah, all right. So we don't want war. We have an anti-war rally we run on Saturday. If you guys want to hang out on Saturday, we talk about that. We also have a social Saturday. That's kind of a fun thing. We decided to create more social issues on Saturday. Wasteful Wednesday is tomorrow. Hold on. There's a lot of people who engage in critical statements about people, and it's just not right. It's time to stop, discriminating, and it's also time to stop harassing. That's going to be a prosecutable offense, especially with all the gays in the military. You're going to have a lot of gays hitting on gays, and you can only imagine one guy suing the other guy for sexual harassment. It's going to happen. No, I never got into cocaine or crack or meth or any of those things that many people destroyed their lives back in the 80s doing. I'm from the 1960s. I was originally born in 1960, actually. I'm older than Charlie Sheen. So, did you find something good to eat for dinner?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed the chili.
Oh, good.
I had a bowl of chili.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it with the tomato juice, and it was good. Actually, a good base.
Fantastic.
And they say that guys should eat tomatoes every day. That's the truth. 50% reduction in prostate cancer if you add tomatoes to your diet. And it has to be like cooked tomatoes or tomato ketchup or something. All right. I don't have any thing like that. Yeah. I've never had any homosexual experiences. We get this thing every night. These bi-curious people come in the show and they accuse people of being gay. That's their little tick.
Do you think Russia is going to destroy Turkey?
Actually, I don't think that Russia is going to destroy Turkey, but I think what we saw here today or yesterday with the conflict, Turkey firing on a Russian plane, is just a small indication of the kind of border scrimmages that are going to lead up to World War III. There's going to be a lot of these little engagements. That's just perhaps the first. But we've seen a lot of engagements with North Korea versus South Korea, and nobody thinks that's going to turn into something bad. So it doesn't necessarily be something like a portent of the end. It could very well be an opportunity to broach the divide and reach out to Vladimir Putin and try to solve this dilemma that we put him in. Now, as a president, I will open up a conversation about trying to get our troops to pull out of Syria. And that will lower the Syrian refugee crisis, and we'll see people going back to their homeland. That's what I plan on doing. And I hope to get there by 2016, 2017 to do this. If the war continues and it develops, metastasizes the way that the Republicans and Democrats seem to be pushing this in that direction, I don't know what I'll be able to do for Syria or for the relationship with Russia. I'll do my best, but we're already going down a very dark road under Barack Obama when he called Putin a jackass. He threw the American people under the bus. And he's put our nation in jeopardy, which is not good. World War III just started. I don't have CNN, so maybe I can just watch. The skies are darkening for a accord on Syria with a Turkish downing of the Russian fighter. Now, because Barack Obama has mishandled this entire relationship...
It says, see real-time coverage.
Well, we can go there and talk about it, but this is what's going on Google right now. Skies darken for an accord. And this is all because Barack Obama has done next to nothing to promote peace. He's actually worked in the opposite direction. Unfortunately, you guys can, it's going to be funny to see how many people are going to be facing the onslaught of refugees coming into their state, and how are they going to deal with it? That's the thing. I mean, I was at a restaurant today where there's a guy that looked like he could have had an IED strapped to him. I had no idea. I couldn't bet him. I couldn't make out what was going on.
Yeah.
And especially when they don't speak English. I've lived in Los Angeles. I know how we can meld as a society. And I know there are a lot of Muslims in Chicago and Dearborn, Michigan, and LA, and all over the country there's Muslims. But the ones that are coming directly from Syria or Iraq have a kind of they've been through hell, that, and their anger level is pretty high. So it's like you're picking up on really weird anger vibes. That's the best way I could describe it. It's like a lot of anger in their eyes. Now that's a subjective opinion. I'm just sharing my feelings. But this isn't an AA meeting, so I'm David, by the way.
And so in Minneapolis, 3 people, or someone opened fire on people near a Black Lives Matter rally against, they were protesting a recent police killing of an unarmed black man. And now they have 3 people in custody for that shooting. That's coming out of Minneapolis, according to Washington Post.
Wow, my goodness.
Thanks for the link. CIA.gov is looking for a video producer director.
There's the link. Scissor Fight has the link, folks. Check it out. I'll put it on the screen so those of you who are watching the recorded broadcast will see this. Because the ISIS videos have been perceived, perhaps, I'm just guessing, but because the CIA has had a problem with the ISIS videos.
That's not what it says, but of course.
But that's what I'm presuming. I can't touch the keyboard.
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
No, that's okay. But yeah, this is a serious situation. They're looking for a video producer and director at the CIA. I've done a lot of work with producing and directing. Maybe I should put my
Maybe
name
you
in
should
that.
apply for it.
The last job I applied,
$49,000 minimum.
Yeah.
40, starting in for.
That would be an interesting application,
wouldn't
wouldn't
it? To DC though.
Yeah, I'd have to move to DC.
That's not so bad to move to DC.
It's not so bad once you get to know me. This is kind of a telltale sign that they need somebody better. That's what I'm really saying. They need a video producer and a director who knows about green screen, understands the way that...
You've been using a green screen for years.
Yeah, I've got the green screen down. It took me forever.
David.
I'm not confusing Dave with facts. I'm going to be just telling you what's on my mind and you can sort it out. But I do believe I know what's true. I do. And I'm a little bit biased that way. But at least I admit I'm biased, that I think I'm true. If I agreed with you, then we'd both be wrong.
Yep.
So any questions about the truth, feel free to ask. I'll be giving you the truth. If you've always had questions in your mind about, gee, maybe personal questions, will I inherit a yacht and live in the French or in Greek islands?
This is so sad in New York. This poor, a newborn baby boy was found in a Queen's Church nativity scene
with the umbilical
cord. Umbilical cord still attached. Just hours after entering the world, this poor little baby boy was abandoned in the church nativity scene.
His nickname is Baby Jesus, everybody. Yeah. You think this is a real story?
Yes.
Really?
I think people are abandoning their children. If they can't raise them, they feel like they don't have the money that the money that it takes to raise a child, so they just abandon them.
This would be a great Christmas story for a modern Christmas story. But did I say the word Christmas? I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to use the word Christ if I'm at the Veterans Administration near D.C. in Virginia. Yeah, Obama made it illegal to use the word Christ or Christmas and talk about any kind of Christmas tree. You can be fired for that at that VA facility. Okay, here we go. Peeps chat room says, Dave, I know crap I don't tell. Uh-oh, we got a guy who knows stuff he doesn't talk about. Were you in the military, Peeps chat room? It's Sarah. It's not Shara. Peeps chat room, yeah. You were an unsuccessful abortion. FJJ18 says he was a living abortion. Now, that's rare. Were you on the actual stainless steel table, barely able to survive, and no one gave you a doctor because Barack Obama, your mom could have had a doctor, but Barack Obama didn't want to sign the Unborn Infant Rights Protection Act. But you somehow survived. How old are you? 6, 8, 12? You should be 18 to be in this room.
There's a new lawsuit against the House Benghazi Committee and its chairman, Representative Trey Gowdy.
What's happened? They're replacing him, switching him out. Trey didn't do a good job. He didn't go after Hillary with a gusto like I would have. And I'm not even a prosecuting attorney, but you can imagine me pretending to be a prosecuting attorney. I'd be like Clarence Darrow. Go ahead.
Former Benghazi investigator sued the committee for discrimination and personally sued Gowdy for defamation.
God.
He served on the federal court for a year since the Senate confirmed him. Okay. So an ex-Benghazi investigator.
All right. Yeah, well, it makes sense that they're going to go after the hand that feeds them. Trey Gowdy didn't do a good job working Hillary over. And Hillary kind of, stormed in and did the same thing over and over again, like a robot. And a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I was talking all about Hillary being a robot. You notice I stopped talking about Hillary being a robot? It's not because she's not a robot. It's because the story's no longer that relevant. Vanity Fair ran an article where Hillary admitted she was actually not really human, which kind of brings me full circle. Okay, I've got to do something before I leave the room. And thank you for coming in and sharing that. The show seems to be like going by really fast for me.
Okay.
So, yeah. I've noticed that effect.
I'll slow it down for you.
Yeah, if you could. We had a meeting with Ronald Reagan and the Mujahideen in the background here.
Oh, no, thanks.
Hey, guys, are you going to be at the local Walmart? Because I could use a few things. If you pick some up at the... These are the kind of people that'll be out at a local Walmart pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay, you need to take a break.
Yeah, but I have to do one thing before I do it. We can always change backgrounds, folks. We've got alternate backgrounds. That's kind of a cool background, huh?
Yeah, that's a cool background.
Okay, we can do that. And then I can bring out a couple of things I want to talk about tonight. which I've been
Well,
doing.
why don't you do that when you get back?
Well, because when I would get back, I start talking, and then when I start talking, I don't do what I have to do here, and that creates a problem.
Okay. So there's alarming signs of oceanic distress on the West Coast. A record number of stranded seal pups, nearly 2,000% of normal levels. Wow.
Wow, that's really crazy. All the deaths in the ocean. That's true. A lot of these deaths, I've not forgotten. No, I know exactly what you're saying. A lot of these deaths have happened because of Fukushima. And again, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, none of them talk about Fukushima. A terrible problem that's leaching 6 swimming pools filled with radiated water into the ocean every day, just from groundwater, leaching through all that draining spent fuel rods. I mean, it's kind of wild. Oh gosh, okay, I got to do this. Okay, we're going to bring in these 3 programs because I want to talk about these tonight because it's important. We offer so many different things that the other guys don't. And a lot of you are going to like these things because they will kind of focus on America and helping our citizens out first and foremost. Microloans, I started with $1,000 to anybody who's a U.S. citizen without a capital crime. You can get a loan. And if you pay it back with $40 interest, you can actually get that loan, repeat it. It will give you another loan right away. And you'll have 6 months to do that. $40. You can make a $40 on your $1,000. And if you don't pay back the loan, you'll never get a loan from the government. It's just you become on the new list. We won't be using the TRW rating system. We're just going to give everybody an opportunity to screw us over.
Good night, 3808.
Good night, 3808.
Time to go to bed.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to default on the money, but at least it'll be going into the economy. Look at it that way. It's not a total loss. But we're looking at about $100 to $150 billion potential loss by doing this, if people default on them. But it's going to go into the economy. So, I mean, it's like we gave how much to some of those too big to fail companies? We gave $160 billion to AIG alone. AIG got $160 billion. That money would go directly into the American people's hands. They'd be able to help. Help me, help me. This is the problem with this program, you see? Mm-hmm. For me, from my perspective.
Well, because you have all these other things there.
Yeah, but from my perspective, it's just becoming laborious.
Well, just be right there. I don't know. Or...
No, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, because you have so much stuff loaded. Get rid of all the stuff that you have loaded and it won't be a problem.
Well, I don't think that's exactly how it works here.
It could work that way. I mean, you could load different scenes as well. That's a possibility.
You're tripping my cat out, okay? My cat's tripping out here. My cat's tripping out. Help me, help me. Kind of trippy, isn't it?
Listen to the music all night.
No, that's enough. Obama, really? Well, everyone's really just waiting to get, into our theater of the absurd and talk about the truth. I think that's what's really going on here.
David just loves all these scene changes.
I know.
Without actually creating another scene.
Well, it's not me that's the problem. It's the program. I'm blaming the program.
I blame...
It is the program.
Both of you.
Resistance is futile, Sarah. All right.
Thank you, Scissor Fights, for the information about the abandoned seal pups.
We've got some abandoned seal pups here to show you guys on the screen. Let's do that. I'll take a break and let you talk, because I think you want to...
You don't have to take a break and whatever, but... If you don't take a break, you're going to miss out of your break time.
I know.
Of your break opportunity.
Let's listen to this little ditty about abandoned sea lions.
We are hearing a lot about the Pacific Ocean getting warmer and generating a monster El Nino this winter. Yeah. Scientists here in the Bay Area say they have proof Just look at some of the wildlife. New at 6, Don Ford shows us how it's hitting fur seals especially hard.
The Marine Mammal Center in Toledo is full of malnourished northern fur seal pups like this one that have been abandoned or somehow separated from their mother.
In our 40-year history, we've never seen this many animals. We've had 91 this season. Prior to this year, 2006 was the highest, and that was 31.
91. That's 3 times, you said. Dr. Baum says warm water is to blame. Nursing moms are struggling to find their normal food fish that have moved away to find cooler waters.
Moms traveling farther to get their own food, their own nutrition, to come back and nurse their pups. And the moms are underweight, the pups are underweight.
Sometimes the moms die at sea, leaving many stranded on beaches like this northern fur seal pup, alone. The lucky ones end up here, being tube-fed a high-calorie slurpy mess while gaining weight.
Herring and water and salmon oil.
But there's another problem. The center says of all the seals, northern fur seals are quickest to bite, even the pups. So extra precaution is needed to stay safe.
They're wild animals, and people have to remember that. If you see one on the beach, the best thing to do is call the Marine Mammal Center.
Adorable, cute, and will bite the living dickens out of you. Don't touch.
All right. So
the Marine Mammal Center expects the number of stranded northern fur seals to start tapering off. But they say with this warm water,
that might not be the case. I'm gonna go here and actually see if I can get rid of this. Delete. 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 Alright, I'll leave it there. David has so much duct in here, and then, oh wait, gonna delete that one too. I'll leave that, oh, delete that. What's this, some kind of text? I'll, whatever, I'll leave that, I suppose. Man, it's amazing all of the stuff David has loaded in here. Anyway. What you want a state prison? Well, maybe we can just take the prisons back that are run by private corporations. It's continuing. Frocky, the Chicago rioting. Let me go see if there's any news on that. Hundreds of protesters chanted 16 shots. They wove their way through downtown streets tonight after the city released a dramatic video. So that's the latest on that. You see seals. I see future hats and gloves. Oh my goodness, dirt. That's pretty hilarious. What, Carolyn Pie? I don't want a seal hat. 35,000 are without power in Spokane. The Spokane braces for bitter cold. Ooh, I'm so sorry, those poor people in Spokane. That's probably where Drag King is tonight. Hopefully that's not his house. With snow and sub-freezing temperatures expected, more than 35 households in the Spokane area are remain without power 6 days after an epic windstorm. Oh man, I hope they can get to there. Hello, Pacific. I think it is important for everyone to teach children the importance of being good. Homely, they would do. People have called me homely before. It's like just an average person. And not all people who have a certain skin color are disruptive. 9458. No, they don't mean a homemaker. Homely, you say, is good wife material? Maybe. No, I've never heard of homely woman being a magazine name. Yes, that's a good idea. Prove to the world that you're worthy of respect. And you do that by contributing to your country. Yep, and don't expect everyone to take care of you. Ask not what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I did not see your post preparation. In preparation, I'm gonna go look for your post, and no, I can't seem to find it. It must be too far back. Oh, sorry. But, well, oh wait. Yes, now I can see what you typed in the chat room. Yes, I can see your typing. So Judge Jeannie says, we can handle the truth, Mr. President. I agree with that for sure. Well, he's here, but I asked him to take a break, peeps, because I wanted, I wanted to give Dave a break because I normally give him a couple breaks each night. Yes. All right. No way. Really? 9458? I've never heard of that. That's pretty crazy. I don't believe that that's the case, but okay. Avoid Costco chicken salad. At least 19 people in 7 states may have been infected by E. coli after eating rotisserie chicken salad sold at Costco wholesale corporations. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are squaring off on a reusable rocket test. CalPERS is disclosing their private equity investment fees, $1.1 billion. So people quitting their jobs has leveled off. They're not quitting their jobs. Your package of rotini, have you cooked it yet, or is this cooked preparation? If it's uncooked, it can last you for
thousands of Honeywell employees
and
aren't
it's
just being
very
forced to take
hard,
unpaid
and
leave.
that can
Many
last
are
like
about to lose their jobs. ABC 15's Noheli Graf is live outside the Aerospace Center in Phoenix. And Noheli, you got your hands on an email that just went out today.
Steve, you know Honeywell not just keeping a tight lock on its facilities, but its employees as well. I tried to question several here today who simply said, I don't know what you're talking about. But tonight a whistleblower has come forward with these emails that might as well be pink slips for about 1,000 people right here in the valley.
Oh man,
They're
where
very
is this
retaliatory
coming
whistleblowers.
from?
and they'll go out of their way to ruin a person's life.
But this whistleblower says people need to know about the tough conversations thousands of Honeywell employees are being forced to have at home. They're about to lose their jobs.
What can save them is if somebody inside the group...
I don't know which one it was, so I just closed all of the tabs. Alright, I'm coming back at you. I can't even read your chat right now, because I closed everything because that just started playing on its own. Sometimes that happens. Alright, there we go. I hope that works. We'll see. Seems to be working. Alright. An ad blocker might help with those autoplay ads. That's a good idea. They tried to charge you $800 for calls you did not make to other countries. Whoa, preparation. That's pretty crazy. 9458 says you might have been hacked. Which is a possibility. I don't know. I haven't been reading all your statistics, 9458. Oh, that's a good idea, preparation. Yeah. What? I don't know what stats you're talking about. Yeah, I looked at that article. Well, I didn't look at the article in depth, scissor fight, but I saw that headline that Jeff Bezos beat Elon Musk's SpaceX in the reusable rocket race. I'll have to look at that a little bit more in detail. You know you've been hacked and you blame either your broadband provider or lemon drops? Okay. Whoever that is. Interesting silver stack. Interesting. Huh. Oh, good. I'm glad you changed names. Oh. You believe that the prison population would go down by 37%? Oh, you're saying that 37% of our prison population is African American. 50% of gang members are African American, according to you. And then... Huh. I don't know about all of those statistics. Especially the IQ, that's difficult to prove. Who will I vote for in the primary? I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. Huh, interesting preparation. Oh, you think some people are just normal kids, basically? Yeah, I think certain people online are normal kids. Wow. Why isn't it faster to fly west? Oh, because we're basically its relative, right? Scissor fights. Thank you, room service. I will be writing in David as well for the general election. Pacific? Question mark. Hello, Canadian. I'm not going to ban any trolls, though, 946. I mean, I can purge them if that makes you feel better. Do you want me to purge them? What can we do? We can be friendly with each other. We can encourage beauty and peace in our lives and the lives of the people that we meet. That's what we can do. And I do believe all lives matter. And it's important that you start small and we just we work and we work at just taking care of one another. Oh, okay. PSX is not PS1. Which one's better, PSX or PS1? Well, David's, hopefully he's feeding himself and getting something to eat. What? How do they say something is... What? I don't understand what you're saying. 9, 4, 5, 8, 9. Usually education has nothing to do with race, especially our wonderful public education system. We provide free public education, kindergarten through 12th grade in the United States, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it'd be great if we could offer a 4-year or 2-year program.
We have disparity in funding for schools because it actually goes down, it goes back to, it goes to the different neighborhoods, and so different neighborhoods can actually raise additional funds for schools.
Right. And some property taxes are higher than others, so. No. Well, socialism taxes the working man to pay for the non-working man. It's an untenable model for economics. It's very poorly planned out. The end result is people hate others. They resent people that don't work. The working class resents the people that don't work. That's the problem with socialism. No, any kind of socialism is corruptible. Same with communism and same with capitalism. All of them are corruptible. You could get a group of people at the top of the Politburo that pad their pockets. And I'm thinking the Russian government has had to deal with that. Yeah, Canada's got a lot of problems. Big time. And with Justin Trudeau offering a place for 25,000 Syrian rebels, it's a big mistake. All of that, not the right move.
Don't be greedy yourself. You can start by eliminating greed with being giving.
In other words, you cannot promote Sanders here because he's not a viable candidate. He wears Depends underwear. You need a person who doesn't have a leaking problem.
We promote Sponheim here, and that's it.
Yeah, thank you. So Jeff Bezos is going to beat Elon Musk, SpaceX.
In the reusable rocket race.
So he's creating a reusable rocket, Jeff Bezos is. Wow, that's amazing. SpaceX had that terrible crash recently on that supply line to the International Space Station. Somebody said it might have been a laser that took it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
A laser from some other competitor.
I'm going to take a break.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for coming in and giving us time away. I was really restored. The food was good.
Wasn't that was good food?
Yeah. I know everything about your country. What country do you live in?
What country do you live in? I don't know what your country is. That is a great idea. Good night, Carolyn Pie person.
Good night, Carolyn. China's banning anti-GMO sites as communist nation attempts to buy GM seed companies. Wow. So China is embracing GMO big time. They aren't doing their research.
They're banning GMO? What?
They're banning anyone who goes against GMO website. Basically, anybody like Natural News that talks about GMOs being bad are banned in China. Yeah, you know, I'm getting the impression there's a lot of internal anger in a lot of these people coming over here. Yeah, I met a couple of Syrian refugees recently. Actually, I saw a person that looked very, very much like a refugee. But he sensed there's a lot of internal angst going on here. I can't describe it. I'm very sensitive to people's moods. So if you're feeling a little bit of, you know, randy, I know that. I sense that. If you're excited by my presence, I can feel that. But no, when I see people that are like suicidal, depressed, weird, hateful, you can sense that too. Coffee for the win. Yeah, Obama can't even help his own hometown of Chicago. Room service, I know. I know. Well, that's the problem. Baltimore is a city that was prepared for martial law by Barack Obama. He gave Baltimore $1.7 billion in the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, ARRA. He handed all that money over to Baltimore. So they were the test city to see how his anti-riot control and destruction zone methodology works. They're using Baltimore as a test city for the martial law that they're going to have to impose because they're creating a crisis here. You see what's happening? Somebody is an interloper within the Obama organization, whoever that person is slowly creating civil unrest in America and making people angry and brewing up things and creating a war with Syria. And boy, what else can he produce that'll screw this country over? Any ideas, anybody? I'm sure he's got handlers that'll come up with a few good ideas. Well, I don't know. I went to Baltimore, 6 years ago, and I sensed a very loving feeling. A beautiful port city that could have really kicked off into some economic growth. We could have created all kinds of new things in Baltimore. In fact, my entire ocean pipeline project could spin off in different directions. We've got an idea that would actually be perfect for a port city like Baltimore. I hate to come up with great solutions at a time when we really need it, but here's one in particular that I really like. There's the Biltmore in Baltimore. And tethered to the ocean there is a beautiful desalination chamber created by the United States government, creating fresh water and electricity right out there in the ocean. That's a water power barge I have in mind. It's shaped like a pyramid, but what it does is it creates fresh water just floating on the ocean, and it can be built in cities like Baltimore. Yeah, there's a big boom for production. We could produce these all around the world, sell them to other countries. We tugboat them to every port around the world, and they love them. Everyone loves fresh water and electricity. And I didn't tell you, but it does create liquid hydrogen too. Yeah, well, the Inner Harbor is awesome. I know there's a couple of really great ocean vessels from the 1700s that are just masterpieces of work and artisanship. David, if they all have a sudden declared martial law, the American people would overthrow the government. Really? And that's coming from Canadian. Really? Well, you're right. I mean, in a way, but I don't think you understand what that means. You know, it's not a fantasy to take down a nation. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to work within the country to fix the nation. Remember, the nation's a lot greater than all of us individually. It gets stronger because we're part of it. If we don't become part of the nation weakens, and that's not good for the nation. So I think changing our nation is the best approach. Top 3 policies for reducing racial tension. Telling all the municipalities that we're not going to pay their cops who are brutal. We will not pay brutal cops, period. No federal money to cities that do that. They've got to pull anybody with 2 charges down off the force, or 1, starting with 1. So what we've got here with the 2-party system, and this is Scissor Fight's work here. Let me put this back. Scissor Fight came up with this really cool picture. And it kind of typifies where we've all come to get to this place where we want to create a third party. And I'll get to the top 3 policies in just a second. We want to actually get people to kind of think out of the box here and realize that they're just playing us. If you're on the left, you're basically taught to hate Republicans. If you're on the right, you're basically taught to hate Democrats. And there's nobody in the middle making any decisions. So they're basically pushing us all into this place where they're going to guide us to our destiny, whatever that is. And in this particular case, it does seem like the slaughterhouse, because no matter how you cut it, the truth is our environment's getting worse. Radiation is not even being addressed by our government. The GMOs in our diet are causing tumors in laboratory animals. There's chemicals literally being dropped on our heads, and we're not even fully aware of it as a society. We've had no oversight over our government, no checks and balances. We are led to believe we have a country because you vote, somehow that's going to make a big difference. But if you vote for the 2 parties, you're basically not doing anything of change. You're not even achieving free choice, because they're telling you what to vote, left or right. Not stay in the middle and keep forging forward and finding solutions to every single problem. All right. So we want to kind of get out of the box here and open up a new way. Kind of come out of the shell. Forge forward. Move ahead. Try to detect it. It's not too late to whip it. Whip it good. Do. Yeah. So we're kind of coming out of the box here. Hey, Dave. Hey, Fruity Fred. How's it going, man? You got it, Dave, to wave. Yeah, I don't like the gangland mentality of a lot of the sectarian groups that are coming over from Syria. I can't imagine it melding well with our 9 or 8 gang members. There's 8 separate gangs in our area. I can't imagine how. Did Barack Obama work on the metrics? I don't think he cares about our country, folks. It's that simple. And if we don't wake up to what's happening, we're definitely in trouble. That's the best way to describe what's happening. Yeah. Nutritional research. 4 ways coffee may be damaging your health. Really? Hair loss. Whoa. Good to know. Headaches. Possibility. Yeah. High anxiety. Okay. Near blackouts. Oh my God. Somebody's drinking too much coffee. I don't go to Starbucks more than once a week because it's like a jolt. It's like 10 jolts. It's like, whoa. I make my coffee so weak I can barely even, taste it. But headaches, yeah. And ironically, coffee is one of the natural cures for headaches. It does a lot of things. It's vasodilator and vasoconstrictor in some areas. I don't know about blackouts, so that's weird. I don't know about sucking, but Starbucks has a really good business model. They wouldn't be successful if they didn't. I used to grind my own beans, Rome. But when I'm not on the open trail, I rely on fresh ground in the can. Howdy, partner. Welcome to space. I'll be your space cowboy. I would not drink Sanka. It doesn't define me. Plus, why drink coffee if you're going to avoid caffeine, right? Mr. Anderson. Yeah, I'm a little bit miffed about a couple things here. I've got to get a couple of things going forward in the show here, and And the problem with everything I do in the show is that I have to pull every single thing up forward anytime I do anything. So maybe I should take a different approach. I think I should take a different approach. I think I'm gonna do something completely different. I'm gonna start deleting things. That's better. That way things come up normally. Like this message here from the Native American people. And I'm related to her. That's Pocahontas, I believe. When your people come to our land, it was not with open arms, but with Bibles and guns and disease. You took our land. You killed us with your guns and disease, and then had the arrogance to call us godless savages. I still like this people going into the whole thing. It's pretty funny. Okay, Dave defines centrist. A centrist is a person right in the middle of the political spectrum, Sir Waffles. And it is a person who, in my case, I'm a fiscal conservative and a social liberal, wrapped up into one. I want to cut the budget. I want to get a zero deficit by 2017. And I want to, at the same time, address issues of homelessness and the environment that Obama is ignoring. All of these make me a centrist. Now, if I was a social conservative and a fiscal spender, I wouldn't be I'd be Donald Trump. But I'm a fiscal non-spender. I don't like to borrow. I don't like our country to be in debt. I'm going to work toward gaining our equity back as a nation, because from the executive branch, I'll have more power to do that. It's the only branch that has the ability to oversee the Exchange Stabilization Fund. There is a better way to do this. It's called write it fresh, as if it was never written before. So yeah, there's one aspect of our government that I can control, and it's the presidency is the only thing that will actually, the only office that will actually oversee the Exchange Stabilization Fund. But it is the truth is, it's at the heart of the Treasury. And it is where all of the money goes. All the black market money, all the counterfeit money, all of the money the Fed is washing through and deciding what they're going to do with, all goes through the Exchange Stabilization Fund. And in that review, I'm going to gain a better understanding of where I can draw money from the discount window. The Treasury has a discount window which we Americans should be able to draw from. So you can expect a 2% loan if you're a U.S. business, hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15. 2% loan sounds very appealing, so I'm going to write that. And this is an infrastructure bank that I'm proposing. And this can run parallel to the Federal Reserve for a while. But this is where I'll draw my $1,000 micro loans for every one of you. And the 2% loans to businesses. So that's another thing that we come to the table with. 2% loan infrastructure bank. And like I said, every one of you at the top of this whole thing are going to get a $1,000 guaranteed loan if you want it. Well, let's be clear. We're going to try to... could you advance the teleprompter? Thank you. Michelle, could you wear something a little less revealing of your well, you know. Well, you know. It's kind of cool. Whew. Yeah, what do you think we should talk about until 8 o'clock? Because I really would rather talk about the truth. 9/11, the truth. Micro loans of $1,000 to every citizen. If anyone wants it, they can get it. I like it. Tariffs? Yes, I do have an ecological tariff idea too. Let me bring that in. Thanks for reminding me. When Donald Trump decided to borrow my tariff idea, along with my 1,000-mile fence idea, he missed the number. I would never put a 30% tariff on any country. It would destabilize trade and send a bad message to every trading partner we have. But I am proposing an ecological tariff of 15%. And if people comply with the standards for human rights, as well as the environment and the cradle-to-grave technology, and following it all the way to the disposal, where we're going to stick it once it's no longer good. If they comply with that by offering a 15-minute in-camera edited videotape showing the entire process, and we say, yeah, subjectively it looks good, you don't have to pay a tariff. I don't know what to do with all these compact fluorescent lights. The truth is they should never have come up with that technology. It is now almost impossible to get rid of these things, and they have mercury in them. The 2% loan infrastructure bank offers U.S. businesses a 2% loan if they hire U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. It's like a handshake. It's like the government saying, yeah, you can do this. Even a restaurant, like a fast food restaurant, would love this, because then they can modernize. And I would recommend some restaurants like McDonald's offer a kiosk in malls as an alternative to restaurants where you have machines offering food products. I would put that 2% loan into buying some infrastructure and then defer that loan by just hiring U.S. citizens instead of illegal aliens and green card holders for those kiosks. That would be one way to do it. McDonald's is a U.S. company, although they are running operations right now to the Netherlands, I believe. So that's a little strange. So we've got U.S. companies now behaving like overseas companies, like Pfizer. Their recent acquisition of Adderall gives them the ability to avoid U.S. taxes, which is really, really serious when it comes to a company with $356 billion annual earnings. Yeah, what's going on, man? You got a problem there. You are a clone of the illiterate Negro who glorifies ignorance and stupidity. Exactly, who is an illiterate Negro? I haven't seen that word used in a long time. I remember when I was a kid, we were analyzing our races, and that was a common term. Ergo, the Negro College Fund. Well, let's be clear. Okay, you are writing, this is correct. I have no accusation of illiteracy. Next. Well, we're going to read out of the chat for a while. I'm just going to nest in the room and do a product or a concept I call chatdar. I'm going to use my chatdar now to analyze what you're saying. I'll be able to find out things about your background using this ability, instantaneous background checks. The words you choose actually reveal who you are. And I can find out intimate details about your personal life simply by analyzing the NSA registry. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually by just, seeing how you lay your words out. How do you use your words? Admiral is suffering from a little bit of erectile dysfunction, possibly an early riser, and maybe early withdrawals. That is interesting. You realize the word racism, this is a truth, didn't exist prior to the 1970s. You go to the wiki and look it up, and they claim that there's a book from the 1930s called Racism. It doesn't exist. The word prior to the 1970s was racialism. Check it out. I speak truth, man. And I don't have a problem with Christmas. I revel in the idea that we all have diversity. So therefore, since this country was founded on the religious diversity of a Christian faith, I don't in any way want to surrender our use of Christmas or in any use of the word Christmas. We're not replacing the word Christ. Similarly, we're not going to turn around and tell Muslims that they have to get ID badges under my presidency. I'm not going to in any way prejudice them because they are Muslim. We will, however, break up Islamic jihadism when they're trying to arm themselves in encampments. And I will have a task force set up to do just that. National Guard might be good at that. Guarding our nation makes sense, right? I am. So all of these things are part of why I'm going to be the one to look at the Exchange Stabilization Fund. Without somebody who actually takes the time to look at this, we'll never get any oversight whatsoever. It's cash. We're talking big time money, 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 money. Cash. It's happening. They do all kinds of things with money. They give it out to their cronies. They set up incredibly low interest rates, the Federal Reserve does. 0.34% interest. That's how much money these people in the Federal Reserve get their money. And that includes Donald Trump. He doesn't seem to have any kind of a shortage of funds. You notice that? And do any of you know anybody at all who spent time in one of the Trump plazas, in one of the rooms? I'm just going to put that out there for you to answer. Do you, or have you heard of people that stay at the Trump Plaza? Any of you? Out of curiosity? Really? Amazon plastered this? Really? Oh, wow. And nobody even cares. Nazi imagery. Wow. What's the world turning into? Jeff Bezos is Jewish, right? Well, Hitler was Jewish too, wasn't he? That's amazing. Take a look at this picture here of a New York subway, courtesy of Amazon, the corporation. It's some sort of a German, and it looks like the Japanese too. The e-commerce giant is promoting its new show, A Man in the High Castle, an alternate history period piece that takes place in America ruled by Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. And this is some sort of a promotion for Amazon. They're funding a movie. So they're doing this in our subways for a fee. Wow, that's fascinating. Thank you. Let's move on to something a little bit more, in our face. I'd talk about Charlie Sheen, but I'm afraid it'd be a sidetrack. I'd be discussing HIV and, gayness, and it's really not that helpful. We did that on I think Social Saturday. We talked quite a bit about him. Okay. So you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express, but you feel still dumb? Okay. I once stayed in a Trump's dump, Steve-O says. Really? Okay, so you did stay there. Well, I can tell you it's a new show, yeah, that from Amazon. Yeah, if you didn't get the link, here it is. Okay, let me take a look at that, Giraffe Brain. Thanks. Now we're going to discuss the possibility of Charlie Sheen, or would you like to go to air pollution? Let's do air pollution. Okay, there's a lot of things going on here. Thank you, 945, for telling me I'm misinformed, but without saying specifics, you fall into the category of being not really a person who knows anything that you can question of what I said. Just specifically, just 1, 2, 3. Give me the top 3. I don't know what a racist is? Oh, I don't care what a racist is. Are you a racist? Well, if you're a racist, just come out. Be a racist. Do whatever you're going to do. I don't have a problem with you speaking your mind, man. I'm all about freedom of speech. I'm not here like the Democrats to tell you guys you can't speak out. You got to have your voice heard, man. Everybody does. It's part of your program. It's the illusion of freedom. that you're seeking. It's that feeling of self-worth that you so want. I love this. All right, so what's gonna live leak? Gotta love that channel. 4chan users bringing gun to protest. We are locked and loaded, they say. A video of two.
Saiga's first recon mission in a little while. This is Saiga Marine. This is Black Powder Ranger. We're gonna go see what these fucking Dindus are up to. AKA apparently a fucking Bosnian terrorist. I didn't even see what that looked like.
Alright, so these guys are weaponizing.
And yeah.
Alright, so we have a couple guys here on Live Leak, folks, that are becoming radicalized white supremacists. That's what I'm seeing here, right? Fascinating. So America, the backlash of all this propaganda, as predicted, is turning our country upside down. Some of the extremists are going to go overboard. Well, did it ever occur to you that that's exactly what this whole propaganda thing about ISIS and the Paris attack is all about? It's about getting under your skin and turning you into a violent radical and then turning Americans against Americans. That's what it's all about. That's what you're experiencing right there. The breakdown of our culture. Up close and personal on Live Leak. Very interesting. See, we're learning a lot tonight. You know, it's kind of cool. I don't plan on buying any kind of a network. I'm not into money, guys. I'm just trying to solve problems here. It's music time. Yes, Sir Waffles. Thank you so much. I mean, I was wondering why I was kind of groping for something to say because I really had to relax and get into another groove. I am not a leader of any white power movement. That's crazy. I've never, ever been anything but a centrist in my country. You fear. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. Yes. Sometimes it gets a little bit over the top. We played a couple of really calm little pieces the other night. And we got a new piece from Scissor. He sent us, yeah, something cool. Feel the heat. That's it. Short and to the point. Good background. So don't be a lemming and jump into the hole like all the other Democrats and Republicans. Let's get this third party going. Let's save what really matters of America, our history, our environment. And most of all, this is the truth. I play this during my anti-war rally. You know, a lot of people died during Vietnam and Iraq, 6,000 in Iraq and Afghanistan. I say enough is enough. End war now. And vote third party, everybody. This is the way to do it. We are with you. Cool, I can feel love here. I support net neutrality. I'm against monopolies. I believe Google is going to try to do a hostile takeover of the cable networks, and social networks will be controlled by the NSA. You're not a voter, but you can become a voter. If you go to our website, America's Third Party, you'll actually see a method to do that. That's cool. Excellent. Thank you, Scissor Fight. That was awesome. Yeah, so enough is enough. We've lost enough soldiers. Why would we be going into a war scenario? The truth is we don't need war. No, I would beef up our borders big time with a 1,000-mile fence. That's why I've been talking about a 1,000-mile fence for 8 years now, 978. And we would be doing a process of modernizing our immigration system so that it would be more front forward. Our embassies would be dealing with immigration issues. Fast track naturalization, that's what we're promoting. Fast track naturalization will be a way for people who are currently illegal to go back to their home country to take the 6-question test at our U.S. Embassy and then come back as a dual citizen. But they would definitely be paying a fee. It wouldn't be as much as a coyote. It'd be like $1,000. But it'd be bypassing all the current restrictions in an immigration policy of 5-year bank accounts, green cards, more than $25,000 in an interest-bearing account over a 3-year period. You know, this is a requirement we're putting out right now. But obviously, if they take the 6-question test, they know how to speak English, and it won't be delivered in their home country's language. We won't do that. It'll be in English. They'll have to take that test. And if they pass it, then they become a U.S. citizen. If they don't, then they've got to migrate their way back into the country with their green card. Well, thank you. That be right. They be widely accepted in the hood. Thank you. Yeah, I grew up in L.A. I know all about how people are living, cooperating, working together. You know, we do have a kind of a melting pot thing going, but our country is clearly at a brink point because the propaganda machine's pushing racial violence and hostility. Frankly, they tried to race bait me a couple times. They got me to do an interview twice in front of my house and they kept pursuing this issue about the blackface. And I'm going, this is a bigger, broader issue. Why don't we talk about the issues? And they wouldn't talk. They just want to make fun of any racial differences whatsoever. They want to create a racial conflict, the Democrats do. They profit from that. And the Republicans profit from illegal aliens, as do the Democrats. So both of the parties now are turning their back on America and just getting all their industry people to hire illegals, exploit labor. The corporate people don't give a crap about you and your job. They really don't. I don't do Ebonics impersonations. Everything I do is completely unscripted and has no framework or any type of backing. It's literally like fresh. It's like right out of the oven fresh. No, in fact, quite frankly, the blackface thing was the smartest thing I ever did. You wouldn't even be in this room right now talking to me if I hadn't done a blackface video, to be honest. You know, I don't need to do black talk because, you know, it's not something I do on cue. It's, you know, if it fits into my conversation and I'm talking to people, you know, yeah, I'll engage in a type of dialectic change up where I go from a Hispanic to a black to a white. You know, there's a guy, I don't know if you ever saw Richard Pryor, but Richard Pryor was perhaps one of the best comedians of the 1970s. And he did an amazing impersonation of a white guy. Let me just give you a few seconds of this, okay?
I love when white dudes get mad and cuss. Because y'all some funny motherfuckers when you cuss. Well, then he says shit like, yeah, come on, peckerhead. Come on, you fucking shake-off. Come on. Start out that bitch. Come on.
So you're laughing right now, making fun of white people. All right? Laughing at a black guy making fun of white people. So, you know, there's no reason why anyone should call impersonation or imitation racism. That's where they're blowing it. Most of the Democrats that come up with that crap out of their pie hole, out of their oral orifice, are actually missing the whole point of freedom of speech. Richard Pryor claimed in his book that he wrote, his biography, that he was living with a transgender for 6 weeks. So I don't know what his sexual orientation would be, but you tell me if a person's living with a transgender for 6 weeks, what does that tell you? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. All right, so we're heading into space, the final frontier. Yeah, well, we are oppressed. Whether you're black or white, we're oppressed. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It is. It really is. We're in this economic crisis together as a people. This doesn't have racial barriers. This is a common thing we all share. We're all getting screwed by the man. Police state is forming a bigger hold over our nation. We're turning into a Gestapo-like Germany, all under the secret clandestine operations of an organization we call Homeland Security that found its roots. Thank you, Sir Waffle. Good night. And good night to you. Thank you. Sleep well. They found its roots in 9/11. The Department of Homeland Security didn't even exist prior to that. And we've seen now at this point. No, I think we do need a comedian right now. I'm going to purge what you're saying. We believe that it's found its roots, the same environment, pretty much. 9/11, we got Department of Homeland Security. And Germany had Department of Homeland Security. Hitler had a Department of Homeland Security. It's funny. America seems more and more like Hitler's Germany now, doesn't it? We're wasting, $60 billion on this agency? We're throwing money left and right into the astrosphere. I have not heard of Tavistock. Let me look it up. It's a place in, West Devon. Thank you. So you live in West Devon, England? Oh, hello. I have family there. It's ironic you should say that. Hey, how you doing? I have 1/4 English heritage. 1/4. No, your serious topic about politics was disturbing. It was more of a reflection on me. Are you referring to the Tavistock Institute? Oh, really? Okay. I'll check that out. It was a really bad fact. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to keep it as bad as possible. I've been told I have the worst English accent on earth. And I pride myself in that. Understanding changes and changing in complex consultants, coaching, research, professional development. Oh, okay. Thank you. And thanks for sharing. Oh, it was bad. I know. I did misread it. You don't sound gay enough when you do your English accent. More gay. Oh, that would be so wonderful. Oh, do tell more. Is that good? Thank you. I'm maintaining all dialect control using a program I developed. It's audio smoothing technology developed by Lockheed Martin during the original construction of my audio program. Tomorrow is Wasteful Wednesday, followed by Technology Thursday and Freedom Friday. When you have any questions, you can ask me. I will definitely get back to you as soon as possible. Oh, and Turkey Thursday. Yeah, that's going to be fun. We'll reconstruct a deconstructed turkey made out of tofurkey. Tofurkey. Actually, we're making a real 100% pure turkey. We found one. And we got a good deal. Did any of you guys break the price barrier of $15? I saw a lady buy a turkey today for $8. It was a little one, though. We got ours for $17. What did you pay for your turkey? Let me see. We got a $42 organic turkey in the room, I'm sure. Some of you must have bought a $42 or $45 organic turkey. Farm raised, gently massaged in its rectal region, and provided ample music and ambiance with Zamfir playing in the background of its entire lifespan. Zamfir's flutes really put those turkeys in another dimension. Gently massaged with the hands of the Kobe beef artists. $100. I actually remember delivering 2 amazing turkeys. Actually, it was a turkey to ham I did for a shoot in Hollywood. This is getting a little bit wild back here. Turns out it was a ridiculous. The lady having the whole thing was spending like $350 for a turkey and a ham with all the fixings from an organic restaurant in LA. I'm turning you on now, I hear you. But it was a shoot in Hollywood, yeah. Anyway, I used to do TV production back in the day. I left that whole world behind me 15 years ago. But no, there was a situation where this restaurant was using Lysol, and it smelled that Pine Sol stuff. It was so bad. And I walked into this restaurant, and they were serving this organic turkey with all the fixing, organic ham, farm raised, and it was like, and you're charging $350, and it smells like Pine Sol. That's the point. Pine Sol. You can imagine your wonderful turkey dinner opened up, and it's like, oh, that fresh evergreen scent. Do you have any Febreze we can spray on this thing? Or maybe some Oust to kill the smell of Pine Sol? Hello, good evening. It just occurred to me that people just want to eat organic. They don't really care what it smells like. I have footage from 15 years ago. Oh, yeah. I've got great stuff. We're going to be opening up the library once I get going here. Yeah, I used to videotape way back in the early 80s. I've got a 1988 electric car video I can't wait to release on YouTube. It has the same electric cars that we're looking at today, saying someday we'll have these. So I think it's kind of cool that we are slowly getting better. The truth is, technology has a push kind of effect. It keeps getting better no matter what we do. And that's because people want to make money in their capitalist economy. Some people want to make even more money, and then they turn into monopolies, and then we have to begin to crush them. Now this guy, Jeff Bezos, this Jewish guy who inherited this ridiculously huge business, he scraped $17 billion off the top when he first started. He just took $17 billion and put it into his bank account. But now, he's literally building a reusable rocket. It's called the butt plug. I'm sorry, it's called Blue Origin. Did I say butt plug? I'm sorry. I meant Blue Origin, the private space firm owned by Amazon's Jeff Bezos. That's right. I guess it was just the image that kind of was like a Rorschach test. Is he Jewish? I don't know. Does it matter? So why should it matter? Can't stop because we won't stop. That's a good one for, yeah. Are you an African American? I'm not. I don't think. Well, actually, I think we're all African American. We all have genomes that date back truly to Madagascar, to a small lemur named Lucy, who happened to be very, very attractive, and many of the other male lemurs were extremely successful. Butt plug is not presidential? Oh, I'm sorry, you wanted a boring Barack Obama-style president? Okay. Well, let's be clear. I'll never say the word butt plug. But, you know, he did use the N-word in a podcast about 4 months ago. I've never used the N-word in my life. Did Trump say he's done crack? Has he openly admitted to doing crack with Charlie Sheen? I'm just asking you. Has anyone heard Trump talk about his crack thing? I didn't do crack, and I've never done coke or meth. I don't even use the N-word, yeah. And now, Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson's wife is singing the national anthem. I hope he won't take a hammer or anything. Or, is he okay? Is Ben Carson, is he, give him 4-point restraint so he won't attack anyone with a hammer. Well, without giving much more acclaim to some of the finest musical vocal talents in the world, we just can't include her in the list. Wow, yeah, see, Ben Carson's a little wild with that hammer going after his mom in that autobiography of his. Plus that knifing incident with the belt. And was Donald Trump there, or did he just say he wanted to be knifed and then use a belt to defend himself? That's what he said. And here with El Chapo after Donald Trump, that could be kind of words of warning if you ask me. We got to be careful. Our leaders, the ones that have bought their way to the top, who don't really deserve a place in American history, they definitely they're taking possible risks, alienating all those Mexican people. Now this is the kind of change that we got. Careful what you wish for. I'm a little concerned that that's not the change we wanted. I'd like to throw the first pitch to a baseball game too. I don't even think it's going to cross the plate, no. I'm going to ask, you're going to bed? You'd vote for me? Oh, thanks for 544. Appreciate it, man. See, we got a thumbs up on that viewer. Thank you, guest 544. Columbus sailed the Atlantic, traveled to America, and then traveled back to Europe and began the race for resources and to establish colonization. In the process came the triangular trade, aka the transatlantic slave trade, which was in effect during the 16th century. Wow, you could be my computer. Change. Yeah, we got more surveillance. That's the truth. We got a lot of lies coming from our government. Isn't that a great pick? You should like it. You made it. A lot of changes. America is apparently for sale, and your vote apparently is for sale, according to Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. So, America for sale? Yes? No? Hell no! That's right. I don't think the American people want to sell their country off, and the best way you can stop that from happening is to take rich fat cats who are corporate out of the equation with your vote. Don't put your vote in the hands of a rich fat cat or a dynasty like Clinton's. Let's vote for somebody with great ideas and a solution for the country at large, not some pie-in-the-sky mentality that somehow throwing money at things is going to solve problems like Obama and Hillary have done. Or Bush. And that whole legacy of republicanism. What a bore that is. They literally have turned our country and dumped it down the hole. So apparently that's what's going on. We're getting, dumped. Whew. Yeah, Ben Carson would put anybody to sleep, except his mother, who he attacked with a hammer. What about that makes you feel confident he would be able to make the right decisions as your president? I mean, is it the fact that he lies? That he said he was, going to receive a scholarship to go to a military academy and didn't? In his book, he completely outright lied about that scholarship money. And it took Donald Trump to accuse him of that for me to hear about it in the news. Otherwise, I never would have even heard about it. But yeah, the country is becoming a little more complicated with this war. We don't need a war. We need our troops to come home and guard our border. We need our nation to heal its wounds from being manipulated for the past 30, 40 years. We need to expurge certain elements from our government that are violating the Logan Act. The Bilderberg Group meeting secretly, that can't happen. Council on Foreign Relations, secret sessions and backdoor dealings, that can't happen. So in order to make our country a hell no, we're going to have to make it so that they can't come in here and buy our country. You'll notice that Republicans and Democrats don't talk about this, but I'm going to talk to you about my concept of pay Americans first. If illegal aliens and non-U.S. citizens didn't collect food stamps or welfare or Section 8, we'd be saving $50 billion a year, minimum. And we would be able to get Americans the homes, the veterans, the homes that they need. And it would change the dynamic where we're no longer kowtowing to illegals. Now, there's nothing in the 14th Amendment that suggests that we have to cover their housing costs. There's nothing in the 14th Amendment that suggests that we have to cover their welfare or refugee pay or anything. Nothing. The only thing that the 14th Amendment has been ruled on by the Supreme Court is the health care issue. We have to provide health care. And apparently education. Education and health care. And that's part of the general welfare clause. But housing doesn't come into that. Welfare doesn't come into that. So, African Americans who are citizens are going to go, now let me see, this president says he's going to pay us our welfare and not pay the illegal aliens. Well, that's cool. Say you're a white couple in southern Mississippi, and y'all live on very little money. Well, y'all be getting that money because they're you a citizen. You're not illegal. You see, we won't pay the illegals. We'll pay you. So I need your vote in Mississippi. Okay? So that's what we're going to try to do. Thank you. Thank you very much. You, sir. I'm not copying anything. It's all relevant information that's spewing out of my inner cortex of my brain. Part of this technology was developed in my mother's uterus. My opinion about Ted Cruz is he's really disturbing. He's not even a U.S. citizen. His dad was a Russian agent with Cuba. No, you got owned, man. You're out of here, buddy. Yeah, you're gone. Yeah. I'm not talking about Obama. I'm talking about Hillary and a legacy of stupidity in the Democrats. Hello? Hey. I'm pretty good. We're on live here with Techwalla.
Yeah, you're the one that's breaking up on me, brother.
Well, I'm sorry, but you're coming in pretty clear on my end.
Okay, well, good enough. The situation in Chicago over here seems to be kind of a bit of a joke because there's not really much to protest, as I stated before, considering the fact that there was a $5 million settlement.
Right.
And the cop is being charged with first-degree murder. Now, we don't know if the guy's going to literally end up in jail. He might be found of involuntary or voluntary manslaughter. There's always going to be a loophole or something. There is no audio of the shooting, really.
Right.
From all the video that I've seen, at least. And that's probably being suppressed to, of course, incite anger and rage and, the typical stuff.
Yeah.
So, this could just be another flare, in about 6 months when, this goes, if it goes anywhere. If it goes anywhere, if it goes to trial, it should be 6 months to a year, probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be, an important case.
Okay.
But I don't really see this being of any damage to the police officer committing the act.
No.
Other than the bit of purgatory that he's going to have to live through right now.
Right.
And it's just going to incite more anger and more racial tension. So, I mean, they're sticking to the plan, man.
Yeah, I know. They're race baiting, and I wouldn't doubt George Soros is writing a check for $32 million right now to the Occupy group just to finance more riots and to foment the racial hostility in America. Because the Democrats are always looking to push us toward the left and make us all feel so sorry for all kinds of minorities. When our country obviously is in this together, we're not just minorities, we're everybody. And catering to one group or another is not going to help this problem. We've got, more white people have died from police brutality this year. Almost 1,000 people have died so far. from unarmed people, from cops blowing their head off. It's unbelievable, and they're mostly white.
It's a double standard, of course. You know, when the numbers really clearly come out, regardless we're a racist, and this whole race thing it's really aggravating. It's really aggravating. It's to the point that let me give you an example, and I've tweeted about this, and it's true. I mean, you have a lot of bad drivers on the road, right?
Yeah.
And everybody does it. Whenever you pass them off, if you're strong-willed enough to just say, screw it, I'm not even going to acknowledge the idiot and just go.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we want to see the person behind the wheel to see if they are as retarded looking as the way they drive.
Really?
And when you just happen to stumble upon a black person who's behind the wheel, they give you the most nastiest, dirtiest look, like, you racist asshole, and you feel it.
Yeah.
It's like a magnet, you know, that just sucks that right out of you, like, you know, you're a racist, and you're giving me this look because I'm a black driver, not knowing the fact that this person could have been white, black, Asian, whatever, while I was behind them the whole time. You don't know from the rear.
Right.
You don't know. You can't profile the rear unless it's a convertible. And that's just a minor example of what is happening. But hey, anything you do, I had a guy almost rear-end me backing into a gasoline pump.
Oh, really?
He happened to be black.
Oh, man.
I'm cussing up a board. You know, my windows are off. I'm just, what the fuck, dude? Fucking asshole, not fucking looking. And he's looking at me like you know, with you want some shit attitude.
Okay, so this is the deal. You should always avoid people. Drive for them. Don't get near them. You know, most people have like 18 inches of space between them and their person next to them. In a car, you need at least 5 to 10 feet. So when you see them rolling up and nearly hitting you, you need to scoot forward. Drive for the other driver. You know, don't just expect them to know what you're doing. But they can. I'm not
talking about 2 car lengths, man. I'm not talking about 8 car lengths. I'm talking about people going 25 on a 35 out of paranoia, for fear of driving, for safety reasons.
Okay.
Like white, black, or Asian, or Hispanic.
All right.
You know, it seems that a lot of the Hispanic people, they drive carefully because a lot of them are illegal. They have no insurance.
Right.
And they don't get pulled over.
That's very possible. You're right. Good point. Yeah.
And when you pass them, you always look at them and you always want to say to yourself, you fucking idiot. It's people like you that bottlenecks. It's people like you that slow traffic down. And while quote-unquote assholes such as myself that maneuver, I should say, around traffic to keep the flow moving with great timing without trying to cut anybody off with force. Or, you know, I'm not trying to pull too fast, too furious. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to get to where I need to go, and I don't got time to drive 25 on a 35 when I could easily be going 40 without facing any type of repercussion.
Right, yeah. Absolutely. I don't think it's an issue about you and your driving skills. I think it's an issue about identifying other drivers as potential risks, regardless of their whether they're from Syria or Iraq. You know, it's like, doesn't really matter. You just have to assume they don't know how to drive, and you know how to drive. So, like I said, always drive for the other driver. That's the thing I've always done. It's been on my mind all these years to avoid
David, I can see you as a nice, cheerful driver with a smile on your face, and you probably wave at the people who pass you.
No, not at all. Actually, I drive with a certain flair. I have an offensive defensive strategy where I actually try to get out of their way. That's what I'm saying. You got to actually jump out of their way. I can't tell you how many accidents I've avoided using psychic phenomenon. You got to put your head about 2 or 3 minutes in advance of your driving. So always, like, put your brain about a mile ahead.
I got a tip for people. You know, tonight's tangent is not really like the whole racial tension thing, because that's the only thing brewing right now in Chicago. That's the only thing that's happening. As far as bumper-to-bumper traffic, people, if if you're in traffic, literally bumper to bumper, where it's gonna take you about 45 minutes to make 12 miles. There's no need to speed up, only to brake in front of the next car.
Right.
Or behind the car in front of you. You can just maintain a 2-car distance and just go the whole way through. But then, of course, Dave, there's always that asshole that thinks there's an open gap and he's going to get further, and he just increases the bottleneck. So
I know, man.
That's all I got for you tonight, brother, man. You have a good night. You enjoy hosting the rest of your show. You enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. I was kind of tripping out there for a second when I was feeling what it was like to be you. Is it snowing out there yet?
Oh, not yet, but it's cold. We got slammed the other day with about 6 inches in a matter of 2 hours, but it was snowing the night before, except the ground was still warm, so it turned into slop, that turned into ice, that turned into a minor blizzard lasting 2 hours that accumulated like 3 inch per hour.
Wow.
So, it all froze over, but now it's warm again, and tomorrow we're supposed to have 55 degrees thanks to the chemtrails that they sprayed today, so it's going to be a nice Thanksgiving.
I know. It's going to continue to snow because of the chemtrails. Thank you. All right, good luck. Thanks for calling, Tech Wall. Appreciate it. Take care, man.
You got it, Dave. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, we had a chance to meet him in Chicago. He was slammed with 6 inches, folks. And somebody just said, slammed with 6 inches? What does that mean? But 6 inches of slush. You'll be back later? Why, you don't like the chat scissor fight? It's too much common chat among the guests. I thought the guests have been behaving pretty well. No, we had a nice conversation in Chi-Town. We met him in McDonald's, and actually we met him in Denny's, and then we went to McDonald's and did our show. With him there, on camera. I will be the next president. Thank you, Potato Girl. You know, I've always known I'll be president of the United States, and it isn't really a shocker for me to, accept that challenge and that responsibility, because I spend all my time thinking about how I can improve the country. And this is not some, fantasy. Somebody accused me of being a fantasist. This is just a revelation that I had when I was very young, that I would be using my talents to their fullest, not wasting my time in some menial job. But I did a lot of menial jobs. I at one time worked 3 jobs at one time when I was 18, 19, literally burning on all fours. And when you save enough money to retire at a young age and live comfortably, and you get a little lucky in life, you're able to do what you really dream you want to do, and that was to become president of the United States. So I'm very confident this will work. No, they're not delusions, because everyone knows that the chances of me becoming president are very, very low. But there is I'm that dark horse candidate who's in the darkness because the media has censored me and prevented me from talking on any issue at all. They won't even get me into the conversation because I'm so dynamic and can ultimately thrust new ideas in front of them. But the real issue is, a dark horse candidate really is potentially a white stallion when I come into the light. And it doesn't mean that I'm in any way a dark, like a black horse. I'm a person who strongly believes in the American values, traditional values, although we don't have a traditional relationship. But as you know, most people aren't in a traditional relationship at this time in America anyways. So Sarah and I are partners in Washington State, I guess, or I wouldn't even define that as the case, but we're adaptive to the modern age, and we're very much ready to get married in the White House. We just have to make that next step. I just don't believe the government should be involved in personal lives. I believe the truth is the government writing marriage contracts right now is breaching the separation of church and state. There you go, Bengalitis. If you were in a marijuana growing state like Colorado, or I guess Oregon now, and Washington, you could get a license to grow marijuana, and that $1,000 micro loan would help considerably for you to do that. I don't watch S3X cams. No, what's that about? What is S3X all about? Oh, you mean sex. I see you are writing in an acronym that I did not recognize due to the numerical alphanumeric discounting. Right. Thousands covers rent, utilities. What happens the next month? It sounds more like a payday loan. Well, y'all, payday loan gonna charge you a lot more, 30% interest every month. This is $40 in 6 months. This is $80 in a year. This is 8% loan. And if you don't pay it back, you don't get another loan. I mean, you're going to turn down free money? Yeah, I mean, well, I don't like Hillary Clinton. I think she's a mean person. She wants everything to be confusing. She wants chips in our head, RFIDs in our brain. She literally talked about that online. She's mentioned that she thinks someday our kids will have chips in our head. What is wrong with this woman? I can't even imagine her even thinking that that's a good thing. You can imagine the future of our society someday. It'll be like a brain warp, you know? It's a brain warp. Nothing but a brain warp. I mean, they would probably map our entire brain pattern and hook up a biometric tool that would stimulate our thoughts so that we would think the proper thoughts. This is worse than Orwellian. This is fusing AI and cybernetics and all the dangerous robo capabilities that we're developing right now. And it's turning our nation into a basket case of potential problems. RFID chips. Well, it would not be awesome if they scanned your chip at the airport. I'll make it easier for you at the airport by... What dip you into, Dave? I don't dip. I'm not a tobacco dipper. Hello, Dave. How are you? Get this loudmouth off the show, please. Thanks, Rodney. It's nice when you come in because we always can tell who you are by your simple comment. Yeah, so isn't this kind of weird how we're heading toward a technocracy so fast? Max Spoon's room for Presidente. I mean, it's freaking a lot of people out. I'm not the only person that's getting freaked out. There's probably octogenarians out there that are freaking out. You imagine being an 80-year-old going, honey, what is this tablet they keep talking about? Some girl walked up to me, or woman said to me that I should get a tablet to download an app. And she kind of looked at me going, but you are a senior citizen, sir. You probably would not know about that. I can handle a tablet, sir. Luca, that's very rude. Some people are getting freaked out here in the background. Calm yourself, William. They are poisoning the water. Yep. And this is the problem. They keep poisoning the water. They keep messing with our testosterone. They're using a GMO product 626, guess 626. The GMO product is called corn. And in the corn is a particular element that actually creates sterilization. It makes your little sperms not go anywhere. They're poisoning everything. Please stop with the Arabic gibberish. Thanks. I don't prefer gibberish like this. Thank you. Okay, Trump asked me to be his VP. What do? I talk. I negotiate. We sit down. We see if we can get along as people. He shares a lot of my ideals. Maybe I can help keep him in check. Maybe I can be a good backup for him. I wouldn't turn the opportunity down. It's certainly it would be foolish for me to do that. Look, I haven't had any mainstream media attention at all in 8 years. If somebody were to offer me a chance to capture some of the media attention he's had over the past 6 months, I could get a fraction of his media attention and be happy with that. So it's kind of sad how they've kept the average American out of the populace and out of the popular opinion polls. We won't even allow an average American to debate. Wouldn't that be great if we could just have an average American get on stage with some of these pumped up, trumped up, let's pretend mentalities? I can remember when the great President John F. Kennedy said to the American people, "It's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country." Yet I like to do funny voices, like Ronald Reagan. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little verklempt, I think about Nancy and how hot and sexy she was in that nightgown that day in Santa Barbara. And then I realize that I'm dead. It's kind of hard to get, excited when you're dead. Okay, you have qualified for the amazing Guest Off, a brand new technology that we developed here. The Guest Off button allows us to stop guest chat completely. You're sending $200, are you really? You have to be a U.S. citizen to make a donation. You know that. I peaked at 100 viewers, Luca. Oh no, you're not keeping track. You forgot the reality is it's much bigger than that. You simply have forgotten that you are merely watching one of the portals of the Matrix, Mr. Anderson. You simply see what is shown you through this one lens, Mr. Anderson. You have no idea of the breadth, the power of the Matrix, and you hopelessly try to be supportive of your Zion, Mr. Anderson. Hey, I'm not a Zionist, so I got to tell you, I am, unlike Donald Trump, who's clearly a Zionist, I don't support, say, one particular side or the other. I don't support just Israel or the Palestinians. I believe that we can forge a relationship with both elements. Palestine could have a state within Israel. There's a plan for that. We can work towards solutions in the Middle East as opposed to just sitting there pretending like we're never going to do anything and then starting a war like Obama's doing. That's a very simple graphic, but it's clearly the Matrix. You may question it, but it's more than that. You have a GIF of Ronald Reagan slapping his face? It's taking up my entire hard drive. What is this, a worm? Is this Stuxnet, Beekman?
What have you done?
You've drained my hard drive. It's taking too long. He slaps a woman? And
the thing that you have rotating behind you.
I'm sorry, but you're probably right.
Why
Sarah!
don't you go do something with your life, Luca? Why are you here watching me when you could be doing something else with your life?
Luca is like so many people that want to...
Maybe you just like to watch me and that's what you are doing with your life. If so be it, so be it.
She's sharing her life vicariously through you, Miss Sarah.
You're doing your MySQL homework. Oh, doesn't that take more attention? That's good, Luca. I was not very good at MySQL. So, I'm glad you're studying that. Good job.
We're now flying high.
And I'm glad you're entertained as well. Isn't it? I mean, somebody's got to entertain you, Luca, right? That's what David does. He's entertaining.
I was one of the most incredible entertainers on Earth at one time, but...
very entertaining.
I've been told I'm the funniest guy alive, but I don't think I am.
Bridge ahead! Woo! I build this bridge for them.
I just don't really want to take a flight. I haven't flown since 9/11, as you know. And I wanted to share with everybody that, I can understand why they're reticent to fly, and I want to make it so it's affordable to fly someday, and eventually get rid of the TSA from the scenario of going into this, having your body looked at I don't really want anyone to look at my body part when I walk through the rapid scanner. I really don't.
I don't really care.
Sarah doesn't care, but you don't have that much to worry about, you know.
I'm awesome. Everybody wants to look at me.
Thank you, DT Laura. Stock market collapse in October. Get ready, boys. Well, wouldn't that be convenient if they did?
Okay, gotta get the cats. And maybe take a break.
Okay. Isn't it funny how she comes in all the time?
Catch some trouts.
I can't wait to do our Wasteful Wednesdays show tomorrow, so I can talk about, you know, all the waste in our government.
The waste.
It's the waste.
The waste. Sarah is in the show now. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a little kitty cat. Let me see if I can trap her here. Okay. Oh boy, I got you. Oh boy. Okay, let's get the second camera going here.
Wow, B-Master, in the Philadelphia airport, they wipe a towelette on your hand and pass it over a sniffer for explosives and drugs.
Do they really? I don't want to go through that.
Amazing.
Yeah, that sounds a little too weird. And I don't trust the fact that they've got downed airlines like MH17, MH370, 470, 570, 670, I mean, whatever. We've got so many missing airlines, it's ridiculous.
We're flying to come see you. No, not really.
MH370, yeah.
Hello, Amber.
Hello, Amber. Here, I'll set it over here. All right, so. That's weird.
That is weird. I don't know why that's happening.
Oh, there she is. It has a low response rate. Just messing with you.
Amber, just chill out.
Just sit down, man.
Just chill out.
Be a typical cat, like you normally are.
There you go. It's all good.
Okay. We had a call from Tech Walla from Chi-Town. You missed it, but
I heard that. That's why I came in a little bit later.
Okay, cool.
Because I figured you had somebody else to keep you company. You didn't need me. I know, she's like as big as a tiger, isn't she?
She's a tigress. Well, I'm not a Muslim either. Does that count? Black, whatever? Yeah. Don't I get a brownie point?
So you can defend it?
Don't I get a brownie point for not being a Muslim? I'm not sure who the pilot is. He's this guy we picked up at 5th and Main. He's been drinking a couple of gin and tonics. He's fine, though. He's within the legal limit to fly a 747. What is the legal limit to fly a 747? What do you have to be, like 0.2.0? What is it, 0.2% alcohol to fly? Amber, would you like to fly? She has to sit in a cat carrier under my bed, and then she'll get diarrhea, and, you know, the whole thing will be a mess. It'll be, you know, complete disaster. Plus, you don't know where that plane is getting its air. You know, all the air in a plane is recirculating.
I love my cat too. I put my hands underneath her and she is my gloves.
Yeah, she is. You've got the potential to breathe other people's flatulence on board the plane. I mean, she's okay.
I'm warming up my hands.
Thanks, Luca. You're not Luca. My name is not Luca. You're going to be removed from the show if you keep this up. Isn't there a song called My Name Is Not Luca? Sarah's hair is beautiful. But don't leave Amber out of the scenario. We're flying Amber tonight. Amber Airlines. That's our cat's name, Amber. Amber Ellen Poe. She's a literary cat. I've never seen you before. Well, I'm not a lefty. I'm a centristy. I'm a person in the center of the political spectrum. How many of you have smelled other people's body odor on board a plane? I have, okay? I was flying down to see Sarah in Los Angeles on a trip back in the 1990s, 1998. And we landed in Oakland, and it is the armpit of San Francisco.
Like, doesn't want the cat in his lap.
No, I'm okay.
You can put her in my lap.
No, I'm good.
Come here, Amber. Come here.
Love your tie. Thank you.
Come here.
Thank you, hand.
Come here.
It's a paisley print.
Good job. Come on.
It's paisley.
Oh, she likes you a lot.
But my concern really is if you're breathing other people's body odors, which this guy smelled the whole place up. It was absolutely. The problem with the airlines is they don't filter the air. Now I'm gonna make some modifications in our air travel. I'm gonna add HEPA filtration to every airliner in America, courtesy of Uncle Sam. And I'm gonna take the money from the existing budget. I'm going to fire about 20 FAA employees that currently make $150,000 a year, and I'll be financing the HEPA filters that way. Yeah, I'm thinking about $2 million should get every single plane retrofitted with nice HEPA filtration systems in the entertainment bay. Yeah, they don't filter the air, duct tape. That's what I'm saying. The truth is, they don't care about the American people. There's no parachutes on any of these planes. You know, if they put one parachute on the plane, it would save 20 lives. If they put two, it would save 60 lives. If they put three, it would save 80 lives. If they put 4 parachutes on the plane, it would save 150 lives, souls. We wouldn't have crashes like the one down in the Alps, the French Alps. Oh, and by the way,
what?
My offer to anybody, I challenge anyone to find the actual audio recording of the captain being locked out of the cockpit of that Austrian airliner that down in the Alps. They still haven't released that yet. They still have not released the audio file from the supposed transcript they pulled up after an hour and a half off the Alps. And the whole story about the co-pilot having psychiatric problems, that was all cover. Show me the audio. The TSA, we will phase the TSA out. I don't want a bunch of rent-a-cops who like to masturbate while they look at our rapid scanner pictures. I don't find that appropriate. I really don't. We need to bring in our plainclothes U.S. Navy, Army, Air Force, and National Guard and Coast Guard women and men, and create the new TSA without the charge. Because right now we're paying for those people to work. They actually have full salaries, and we don't need them doing nothing while they could be doing something, and we don't have to pay the TSA. This would save this country $7 billion. This is what we talk about on Wasteful Wednesday tomorrow. But yeah, I remember it didn't put it in conspiracy, I put it in fun, because I thought, oh, that would be fun to have, somebody to literally put their hands in your pants there. Wouldn't that be something? This guy is what my worst nightmare is. If somebody did that to me, I think I'd freak out. I'm just not into that, It's just not my thing. Okay, you've got a tiny pic going now. I'm going to say TSA groping stage right. That was from the Pink Panther, way before your time, Sarah.
Okay.
Exit stage right. Okay. You had the TSA investigate your prostate. Did they do? Yeah, I don't want to get into the specifics, but my cat doesn't want to know either. So Jeff Bezos is starting this amazing process. Pretty cool. We established that story. Not a lot of other things in the news besides the knifing with 16 stabs of a young man. We got a call about that.
A knifing.
16 shots to a young African-American boy. That was a thing that happened a long time ago. They've already gotten $5 million from the Chicago Police Department. The guy's been prosecuted. Yeah, what can I say? They're trying to pull up old racial conflict stories just to foment a race war. And then Jeff Bezos is going to waste some money. That's kind of nice. Doing the gauntlet. In the race to develop a reusable rocket, it launches the New Shepard space vehicle, consisting of a BE-3 rocket and crew capsule, to the edge of space at suborbital altitudes. So they can only go to the edge of space. That's probably the truth, is they don't have the ability to get any farther than the edge of space. Oh, there's a video on that package. Really? Let's take a look at that rocket ship, because that's very flight-oriented. Historic rocket landing. Let's take a look. Well, unfortunately, I can't play beyond 23 seconds of copyrighted sound, so I guess I just can't watch it. Challenge Aneka. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay. David, you have the Freedom of Information Act. Use the option to GE the cockpit recording. Okay, Frankie has a good idea. Let's do a Freedom of Information Act proposal to the Interpol.
It's pretty hilarious, David.
This one's for Amber. Oh. Bad news. It's curiosity. That's cute. A little cat humor, folks. And we're missing Meow TV tonight. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got involved in a Muslim uprising in Paris.
Well, I think I know what happened to Drag King.
No, really?
There's so many people without power in Spokane during the middle of a winter storm
I know.
going on.
It's amazing. 6 days they've been out with power.
Yeah.
Spokane has got a winter storm coming in Washington here, and they've been out of power in certain areas for 6 days. Fascinating. Okay, I'm going to get up and then I'll come back and kind of give you guys a little after show. Sarah's going to take command of the vehicle. The flight is to this Desperation. Desperado. This is called the Desperation Flight 101.
Okay. Fantastic. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Isn't it? It feels like it's only a couple of days till Thanksgiving. Does anyone want to share their Thanksgiving plans with us? We will be, I'm sure David will probably be doing a show. That's probably true. What? That's a bizarre challenge. And NECA, whatever. And now the serious news, entertainment and arts. That's hilarious. Steve-O. Surprise scientists discover babies exposed cannabis wombs. Better vision. So it's, if you smoke marijuana while you're pregnant, your children have better vision at age 4. That's kind of bizarre. Really? That is so bizarre. Thank you, challenge. I'm definitely not someone who imbibes, I would say that. And I would think, I don't know if it's good for children or whatever people want to do to their own body. And then I'll just have to deal with their children when they come to when I have to teach them. I don't know. Yeah, well, David does believe in legalization. I know that, but I don't know about, I wouldn't encourage. It's kind of like there are warning labels for women to not drink while pregnant. I would say the same rules apply to marijuana. You shouldn't smoke marijuana while you're pregnant, even if it is legalized. You know, really, anyway, do what's in the best interest of the child. Drop frames detected at Ustream. Whoa, sorry. That is why oftentimes I don't click on links. Not because of sneezing, but because I don't like, that is pretty hilarious. That's a funny picture. That was funny, scissor fight. But yes, I don't like reading about all these negative things too. Bless me, Amber is with David in the other room. She came in to get enough lap time on David's lap. She loves David's lap. She'll sometimes sit in my lap. If David's really not around, then sometimes she'll say, okay, I'll sit in your lap if I have to. I do believe in you. Do you believe in you? I believe in you. They say it impairs brain development, but great eyesight, and the kids smell good. Bizarre. Maybe he is one of those few clear-minded and thoughtful people left on the planet. Exactly. Okay. Oh, use caution. Oh, there might be a missile coming after me. Wait, I'm not a Russian plane. So that's good. Putin owns? What does he own? Who is he talking to? UK person? He discusses the Middle East with Kuwaiti Emir in Sochi. I wonder when was this published? On November 10th. Interesting. Maybe I will play it. Would everybody like to see that? What else is going on here? Oh goodness. I'm beginning to dislike Daily Mail. We should see the movie Room. It's a very good movie. It's in the movie theaters. We haven't gone to the movie theaters in a very, very, very long time. That's true, Challenge. I agree with that. Room. And what's it about, Beekman? Oh, it will win Best Picture, you believe? Okay, I guess I'll Google what's it about. Showtimes for Room. The Room. Official movie site. The Room movie. Synopsis. That's what I want. Oh, goodness. This is not the site, is it? That's a 12th anniversary thing. I don't think that's right. Let me look at this other one. Whatever that was looked bizarre. Okay, after 5-year-old Jack and his mother escape from the enclosed surroundings that Jack has known his entire life, the boy makes a thrilling discovery: the outside world. Ooh, that looks really good. Room. I could watch the trailer. That looks cute. So they were like in kind of a, here's the trailer. That sounds like a terrible movie. What are you saying?
One evening when the sun went down and the jungle.
From the best-selling novel. Ooh, it's a novel. Maybe I should read the novel. They were inside a room. Whoa. Whoa.
Right, well, I wasn't always in room. I'm like Alice. Truck.
Truck.
Wiggle out.
Wiggle out.
Jump.
Jump.
Run.
Wow, that looks really, really good. Whoa. You know what it reminds me of, Beekman, is that poor girl that was kidnapped in Utah and held in the backyard. I think she was in a tent. So sad. Sorry, Carpet Muncher. You couldn't even watch it. Looks just as... What kind of movie would you like to watch, Carpet Muncher? Yeah, it looks like it's loosely based on that. You can't turn an apple into an orange if you only have one ice cube. Ooh, horror action. Definitely different than me. There's a show that you might like, Carpet Muncher, on Netflix called The Following with, who is in it? David knows it. Yeah, anyway, that's a movie you might like. You might also like Dexter. Oh, and The Walking Dead. I don't really like The Following. I mean, I've seen maybe 1-2 episodes with David. I'm just like, ugh, no. You don't like Dexter or Walking Dead? Well, you might like The Following then, because I liked Dexter, I liked Walking Dead, and I don't like The Following. Really? Challenge, interesting.
So she likes her new kibbles. They're kind of a different brand. It looks like the same brand, but they're actually different colors.
Who's in the show The Following?
That's Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I'm right in the final...
would you call it horror action?
Horror action, yeah. Episodic horror action. It's a story of a serial killer, and I'm glad Kevin Bacon got some work after Bernard Madoff made off with $18 million of his money.
I noticed that, Challenge. Why did they stop selling Nike socks in Walmart?
I'm not sure, you know. I can't find any Calvin Klein Speedos there. It just, they don't exist. You can't find them at Walmart. Speedos. No, I don't want Speedos. It's a joke. If I wore Speedos, I'd feel so fat. You know, I'd feel like, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Dropping frames.
I know, it's been dropping frames all night. I'm sure it is. I'll look.
I'm having a problem with mega corporations that are engaging in really predatory practices of controlling and dominating markets. I'm a little concerned about the rising power of Google. Even though I love Google, I'm sure a lot of you guys love the services Google provides.
Yeah, that's it.
But I'm having a problem with the fact that the government seems to have control over Google already. So why don't we just socialize it? You know, in the instance of monopolies, they're serving the public interest. How long is Google going to make money on the same code that was written, in 2 or 3 weeks with a couple of guys on, designer drugs?
I've heard of the Z Nation, but I haven't actually seen it.
This is Goodnight Mommy official trailer. That looks good. Let's leave it over there. I'll look at it sometime. We're watching it. We can't listen to it.
Well, because, the thing is, you said I couldn't listen to it.
We can't listen to anything, it seems.
Whoa.
Oh, it's like a horror movie?
I don't know.
It gets under your skin and stays there. Ooh, weird. Ooh, I want to see this. Yeah. It's like a guy with a mask living in your house.
Woman with a
woman with a mask.
She's so different.
How would you feel if you had your face removed and replaced? This is exciting. This is up there with that guy, Siskel. Not Siskel, he had a heart attack. Ebert. That poor guy had half his face removed before he died. Wild stuff. So Sarah's watching the trailer while you guys see it in the small screen. Yeah. I met Siskel before he had like a brain tumor. And then Ebert. I don't need the sound on.
Ooh, that's so freaky.
Freaky. Warning, warning. Freaky official trailer. A must-see for movie lovers. It's a trailer called Goodnight Mommy. We'll give you the link. That much I can do. Yeah.
I don't think I want to see that.
Sarah doesn't like that stuff. I don't mind horror movies. There's a whole Criminal Minds. Have you guys seen Criminal Minds? It's the best scary film of the year, Beekman said. Criminal Minds is 235 episodes, some ridiculous number, and each one episode teaches anybody how to become a serial killer. It's scary. And it's weird. And you wonder, why are they doing that? Why are we pushing such violence on our children? Why are we telling them how they can become psychotic weirdos? I just don't think that's really something we need to do. And I don't watch that stuff. We don't watch Criminal Minds. Sarah and I don't. We watched like 2 or 3 of them, but that was about it. And it just got... I'd have to be really hard up. I'd have to be in a bug-out situation with a nuclear apocalypse around me. And I'd be watching Criminal Minds just because I'm trapped there. Just to, see how weird and twisted the human beings could ever be. Because I'd have to be literally tied down in a situation where I had nothing to do to watch that show. It appears that we have chat lock. Or, no, we just stopped guest chat. That's the thing. Okay, well, it's coming 9 o'clock now. We go guest on. Changes the dimension of the chat dialogue, and we'll see what you guys have to say.
All right,
Challenging
thanks for the videos. All of you. I will
Good point.
take care.
Thank you, Sarah.
I know. I'm not a big...
She hates that stuff.
I don't like horror.
She doesn't like that stuff.
I like movies that make you think. I definitely like romantic comedies. I know David rolls. Did you see him? He rolled his eyes at that one. He does not like a romantic comedy.
I like special effects. I like all the different action adventures.
I like character development.
I don't mind character development, and I like romance nestled in romantic comedy, nestled in an action adventure. No, I don't mind romantic comedy.
But it's not romantic comedy then.
Really?
I'm more of a romantic drama than Ironweed.
Rothschild 2016's here. David Rockefeller is not speaking in this room. We're not mouthpieces for some secret society, sir. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
That's true, Beekman. I can see how it's got a psychological dramas are okay.
Turd Party. Hey, how are you? You started the Turd Party. That's similar to what we have. We have the Third Party. Isn't that interesting? How we almost rhyme.
Very similar.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. You've been awesome. Great night. That was Truth Tuesday with Sarah. She gave us a really good personal human contact that many of you don't have. Many of you are stuck in a cardboard box, sleeping on the street with your laptop hooked up to a Wi-Fi output. I know. I have a couple people that come in the show saying, David, I don't have a life, I don't have a job, I don't have a... And they feel so bad, and it seems like we can talk. Isn't that amazing? The miracle of the rich internet that we have today. Yeah, it's nice. And whenever I meet people, like we met people from our show around the country, they say, David, I know you. I know everything about you. So when I start talking, it's like, oh, wow. So I already told that story to this person. I didn't even know that. So I start to pull from my dialogue, my archives. Dave, I don't have a GIF. Can I have yours? Sure, where's my GIF? The last person I met was Mr. Yeah, it's a sad story. Mr. Bumpus. He was a really cool guy. He had heart disease, 25% functionality in his heart, but he was a roadie during the rock and roll years in Cleveland, and he met us in Cleveland, and we stayed up till 4 in the morning at a Denny's talking to him. But I think he's gone, yeah. I'm sure of it. He would have been in here by now. Yours for $17.5 million. The luxury home where you could have a blast. A converted nuclear bunker boasts 32 acres. Now this is it's true that if you stay in a nuclear bunker, you're going to survive the turmoil here on the planet more likely. Property near Savannah, Georgia boasts weapons room, $100,000 closed-circuit television, constructed 45 feet below the ground. It also features home theater, game rooms. It can withstand an array of potential threats, including a 20-kiloton nuclear bomb. Used as a training facility for military personnel, the bunker is now being sold as a potential home. Yeah. Chris Salomon, a co-owner of Bastion Holdings, said it offers the ultimate safe haven for the government. For any family, business, or government that wants the ultimate in security and comfort. Well, count me in. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Little zip, zip, zip right down there. 16 floors down. Artistically imagined. Impressive, a one-of-a-kind luxury bunker that can apparently withstand is this pie in the sky or real? Welcome to reality. It's real. It's luxury, and you can just sit there talking to, your favorite model type person, or maybe a robot who looks like a model. Hello, how are you? How are you, Dave? Yeah, that's nice kitchen. $1,200 refrigerator. Nice. This is a real property. No, nice. A nice hardwood floor. Emergency exit, workshop, guest bathroom. Yeah, so we're kind of getting closer to our goal. I think the truth is, folks, we can't wait around for our government to, take care of us. 17.5 mil, basically a trailer. Section 8 bunkers don't exist. I don't think the government has any funding for the Section 8 bunker groups. It's the real McCoy, Giraffe Brain says. Yep. So a lot of you are kind of envisioning a place kind of like that. Wouldn't it be kind of nice to have a civil defense system where we had, places where people could live? Wow, wouldn't it be wonderful if we were like sitting on the edge of a brand new wave of humanity in this chat room, and we were the core last survivors on Earth? Because right now I'm seeing a government run by greedy corporatists who are literally selling our country. That's right. America for sale. Hell no. Yes, no? Hell no. I made this GIF when I first met Sarah, I think. Scariest is whistle and I'll come to thee. Well, I'm trying to avoid scary stuff. Somebody said we're all a bunch of racist white supremacists. We're not, man. I'm a centrist. I have no white supremacy in my life at all. I have never been with a white supremacist in my life, even personally. I steer away from biker bars too. When I'm on the interstate, I try to stay in the rest areas mostly. David, what does it say about America where a small percentage support Bernie Sanders? It says that America on the far left likes him, but he's just too wacky on the far right, so he doesn't win a lot of people over. He's not a fiscal conservative. Bernie Sanders could never come off as one of those. Yeah, Bernie's going to get pummeled by Hillary. The fact that he said that he's upset or he's tired of people talking about Benghazi too showed me that he basically bent over and greased up for Hillary. Here comes the strap-on. Want to hear everything I know about economics? Pull my finger. That's funny. There you go. The physical match between me and Bernie Sanders is uncanny. I realize that, but I don't mean to in any way look more like him than he looks like me. So I'm going to alter my facial tone, shrink my head down, and give you a taste of what true socialism is all about.
We need to get all the monopolies and break them all up and distribute the wealth among all the black people so that we can have reparations. And then we can bankrupt the country with another $18 trillion loan to create cheap government jobs.
I've never really heard Bernie Sanders talk. What does he sound like? I don't know. I just don't like the socialist, It's taking from the working man to pay for the non-working man. I just don't get that. That's why I don't draw from food stamps myself or any kind of social welfare program. I'm kind of like the Clint Eastwood out there in the open chaparral, biting my curd, minding my curds and ways. Oh, we have active chat room. You are a very active chat room tonight. Thank you so much for coming in. And we do have some viewers from Japan. Arigato. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to talk about Fukushima, dealing with the waste problem. I'm hoping to get more information about where they're at, if they've got more radiation or less spewing out of the shore of Fukushima. Or more Jewish. Okay. Sort of like one of these kind of guys. Okay, I'll work on that. Okay, I don't buy 50-cent old bananas, Rothschild 2016. I'm actually paying 29 cents now per pound for bananas. The market right now sustains at 42 worldwide. I check the commodity reports every night on bananas. And I cut my cost by half. Yeah, 29 cents a pound. And I do it using a pattern of, much like a shark circles through the water, looking for food or morsels. I walk around every box store looking for value. That's why they've coined me Discount Dave. I don't know if it's a flattering thing or not. I mean, I'm flattered, actually, because I love discounts. And I want the American people to know we're going to provide good value from the American government. Now, when I create jobs, we need to actually route those not through your tax dollars, but we need to get something that'll repeat and create a return on investment, something that will bring money back, have a multiplier effect. We can't just possibly throw money at everything. So I came up with a plan to combine a couple things, like the food that farmers don't produce. We could actually produce food with this plan and process it and make frozen entrees that are really tasty. And those tasty frozen entrees can come in any imaginable flavor, and they'll be low fat, low salt, and low sugar, so it'll be help the physical strength of people. And we'll focus on non-GMO. We'll be steering away from Monsanto. And it'll help the base of the farming community that's trying to repair from this GMO production, which is literally destroying our country's soil. Our topsoil is depleted. We're facing a potential drought. Here's Bernie. Yeah, there's a good one. This is the essence of offering free college for everybody. Like he even knows where he's going to get the money for that. I read stories about people who go to college and live in vans. I did. I think it's pretty funny. There's a guy who went to Silicon Valley, and he said he's gonna get a job there. He didn't have a place to live, so he's staying with a bunch of guys, and he decided he'd just buy a truck, and he built his apartment in the truck, and he sleeps in a parking lot outside of a high-tech company and makes pretty good money now. But yeah, mobile medical unit is very much of a mobile system. Kind of like this flight to nowhere, flight of desperation, our last flight to World War III. You're traveling at 30,000 feet, ladies and gentlemen, and to your right is Syria, where this plane could very well be a potential terrorist attack. And you don't know that you're going to be safe, so welcome to Tarmac Airlines. You're traveling at 22,000 feet with no parachute and no chance of ever redeeming your soul, your eternal soul, in the event something horrible happens, like somebody lights the fire on the carpeting or something with a match. You know that you can die of asphyxiation faster than anything on board a plane? That's the truth, and there's no real, other than the oxygen mask, there's really no safeguards against that. Okay, so we are going to be providing some, alternative views on a nightly basis. It was a lovely. I am funny. Well, they're not really images to be, comedically taken. You should take this show orally, not rectally. Don't consider this your political suppository. When you go home tonight, I want you to just kind of savor it, taste the idea of a third party, and realize that if we don't start communicating, we're never going to solve America's problems. That's for starters. So meeting in the middle of the political spectrum on a nightly basis is a good thing. Oh, that was a good day. Those are the good old days, yeah. When I looked just like, yeah, that guy. I don't know. I've been converting to a new browser. I'm not sure it's good or bad. Do you guys know that Star Fox and his crew decapitated their legs and put on prosthetics so they can fly without having their blood rushed from their brain? What world are you living in, What is Star Fox? And are you from this planet, Guest 346, or do we really have an alien contact here? Folks, we may very well be visited by an alien in our chat room. Guest 346 could very well be an alien encounter. I'm not sure. I don't believe in aliens, but... Operation Star Fox. Mr. Luscious Lineball, and you know all about Operation Star Fox? Oh, you Nintendo 3DS. Okay, you gamer. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and I know nothing about gaming anymore. I gave gaming up 6 months ago. You know what can happen in 6 months' time in American technology? Virtual reality is way better than gaming. I mean, I'm at the point where I almost believe that I'm sitting in front of a monitor talking to a group of chatters. It's amazing. It's so real. I can't even describe it. This VRML headset is totally surreal, dude. This is Gaming Profile, America's third party interactive political chat show, isn't it? I thought it was. Let's not say any derogatory things like manlet. I promised myself I wouldn't mention the word manlet tonight. Some of you are living at home with your mom and dad. Okay, let's get to that. That's the truth. I get that all the time. People, the fact of the matter is, I kind of did that when I was 25. My dad had a mild heart attack. So it's no big deal. And you know, today, it's the best way you and your family can conserve money. And in the long run, you'll be able to take care of mom and dad. And they'll go, son, thank you so much for taking us to the doctor. I can't tell you how we appreciate it. Yeah, so instead of worrying about gaming right now, you can care for mom and dad a little bit more, okay? That would be helpful. So one of the true things that I said earlier was there's a lot of violence in television. They're talking about, they trivialize death with Walking Dead and all this stuff. Yes, Ted Cruz and Dr. Carson could definitely be used. You know, Dr. Carson, let me suggest that maybe he could be the one to analyze the brain of Barack Obama. I think we got a match there. So I will have Ben Carson possibly consider him for Surgeon General. I'm just going to say consider him, all right? Just so we go there. I'm not ruling anybody out. I don't want to, cut any Republican voices out of the mixture. We also want to listen to the Democratic candidates, but there aren't any, except for the robot Hillary and Bernie. Bernie can have a place. I'll let Bernie in on the conversation about busting monopolies. Bernie can lead in that department. Really, put a socialist in that position. That's probably the best thing. But one thing we're not going to forget is we're not going to forget our Bill of Rights. And one of the things I want to get back to is I'm going to erase Directive 51 and rule it out. 6 months is too long of a time for a president to justify martial law. I believe 6 weeks would be adequate. Advance notice. So Directive 51 has got to be altered. We definitely want to retract certain provisions within the freedom, or what is called formerly the Patriot Act, the Freedom Act. And I certainly don't want a Dream Act like they have in California. I mean, that's absurd. We don't need to give illegals any more benefit than they're already getting living in America. I mean, that alone, and not being kicked out like Donald Trump wants people to, have all kinds of banners and ID badges and things. I mean, like a Gestapo. We won't do that under my leadership. We'll have the same thing we have right now. And our currency will all be good. And I might even bring on a third, or possibly a solution to the currency crisis by opening up a new denomination. Like a $15 bill. We are all immigrants. What do you mean? My father came into this country from Norway. Not him himself, but his family. My father was born in America. I was born in America. But I think my great-grandfather was born in Norway. My mother's family dates back to the 1600s, though. We came over from England on her side. So yeah, we're both immigrants. But I do have a Native American bloodline. I have a little Algonquin in me. About 2 inches. Very stimulating. Okay, UN gone, Fed gone. Yeah, we could definitely put the UN aside from our politics. I agree with that. Federal Reserve's got to retire that. We got to basically create a parallel system that can run and let the Federal Reserve go. I think the Federal Reserve is ready to go, frankly. I think they're done. They can't use our government and our equity as leverage. There's a lot of things I would love to get into if I had a little bit more time, but I'm going to let videos play tonight. One of the top issues about restructuring our financial system is finishing off a bankruptcy that started in 1933. And it's a bankruptcy for the United States of America. And our country is still in bankruptcy and has been since 1933, when FDR declared bankruptcy March 9th, 1933. That's a truth that I didn't want to bring up right now because it's complicated, but I'm going to bring Karen Hudis' video into the show to talk about the source of what could very well be a solution to our bankruptcy. The gold and all the silver, the holdings that we got from Germany and Japan are still in the hands of the World Bank. Well, guess what? We owe elements of the World Bank lots of money in our debt. We could cash that out and get much more gold in return for simply cashing in the Federal Reserve notes that are currently on file with the Federal Reserve. That's the possibility that Karen is presenting. And I think being a former attorney for the World Bank for 20 years gives her a head up on this issue that we should definitely consider making a big move like that. And when I become president, that will be one of the key ways we're going to muscle a little bit more leverage in the international monetary system to bring our country into our own sovereignty again, separating from some of the people that are still trying to control our nation's destiny. People out of Europe, people out of London. And that's the truth that I didn't really want to bring up, but there is still that issue of the missing gold. And that's true. All right. Police scanner feed, really? What are they eating? Is it like chicken feed? We've got a police scanner feed here.
Car 41, the state police, they may come up on the lower Wacker Drive, so just have some cars there. I need some cars up there on Congress.
Cool. Live audio play from a police scanner. That's awesome. Thank you. That's Chicago. Silverstack, you just got a great link there. Check it out, man. Scissor Fight. Police scanner feed. You can find your area. That is a really cool link, man. Wow. The link finders I have in this room are amazing. You guys are phenomenal. You know who you are. Well, yeah, we destroying the World Bank would not nearly be as effective as snipping a few lines to the Cayman Islands. Yeah, there's more money there than at the World Bank. But no, the World Bank is going to have to come forth with the gold, because we can call our markers in then. And you know, by the way, we're all millionaires, in case you didn't know. All the U.S. citizens in America are millionaires. We just don't know it yet. Yeah, we're sitting on way more equity than they could even begin to imagine. And they've been keeping this in the dark for a long, long time. They keep us in the dark. They don't realize that some of us are aware of this lost equity. Some of us are actually paying attention since World War II. They should be protesting, yeah. The cop was charged with first-degree murder, yeah. And you know, being they've already paid the family $5 million in this Chicago case, it's more of like a propaganda thing, like we were talking about stirring up the broth of racial hostility in America. They have an agenda, these Democrats and Republicans. They really want to drive our country apart, not bring it together. Oh, I have my eye on you. You have various voices. When you lie, you put on fake inflection. I have my eye on you. What a weirdo we've got in our room, man. This is the same guy who's psychotic and believes he's a CIA profiler. He comes in our room, it's like, he's got a website dedicated to hating me. He'll be prosecuted eventually and serve probably double nickels at Supermax. Get ready to grease up, buddy. You're going to be needing it. Okay, you might want to get one of those Simonizing treatments done, so you're ready for action. It's time for you to your pull-up change. Oh yeah, change. Okay, so as he rewrites the Constitution, screws our country over, violates our border, bringing in illegal aliens that we don't need, with no real intent other than destabilizing our country and blaming these people on another wake of terrorism. Barack Obama has proven to be everything the right and the centrists, the independents said he was, a total disaster. Thank you. And thank you, all of you Democrats, for voting like imbeciles in the previous election. What a bunch of idiots. And what am I going to do with you? A party that never questions themselves, never asks their president any reasons why this or that is happening, just goes along and acts like, well, it's best not to question because we can cling to power and somehow control the White House in with Hillary. This is a disaster in the making. Okay, well, I read it in chat room, which is 6,000 words a minute. Check it out. Take the chat room and read it in 1 minute, the entire page. I will do this on camera for you right now. You ready? We're going to start at the top of the chat, and I'll read the entire thing, and you can ask me any questions in the chat. Here we go. And that was a half a minute. That was 3,000 words. So, okay, go ahead. No, I did not do that to trash Anna. Somebody said that my blackface was really disturbing, and I understand your concern. I get that. I am using a browser that rapidly speeds through my chat. It gives me defragmentation drive. Engage. Default program. Hello, my name is David Sponheim. I am running for president. Hey, by the way, tomorrow is going to be Wasteful Wednesday, and Thursday is Technology Thursday. And we are ready for action every night from 5 to 9. But we do extended shows like I did tonight. His word was octopus. The word was octopus. Hey, thanks for coming in. It's been fun. You know, it amazes me how I'm able to do this show every night. 7 years in a row, and it always feels like it just rolls by. I'm not keeping files on you. The NSA is. I'm not allowed to track your IP either. I can prove it simply by saying, yes, the word is octopus. Take me live, external routers. Wow. That sounds like a sex act. Take me live, external routers. It's like, what is this? Oh my God, it's an external webcam. We're hacking into the mainframe. This is the Matrix. Whoa. Where is this, dude? This is a live broadcast. Cool. This has been great fun. Well, you'll be ready for Technology Thursday with all these great links. Good, look at you. Talk about blackface. You like the blackface? Great. Thank you. Oh, good compilation photograph. Thank you so much. Yes, I will briefly talk about the blackface for you. You know, every president needs to be impersonated. I would expect you to impersonate me if I'm president. And when I pulled the words broke insane Obamas out of my ass, I realized that there was something more than just a turd. It was a concept. And I was trying to relate the reality that he is costing us $8 trillion. And he's acted insane. The programs he's put in place are untenable and will not work. Yet nobody questions him because he's black, and God forbid we question him, or we'll be a racist. And then the fact that he's engaging in war when he said he was a man of peace. And you Democrats have not understood that from the get-go, and you did not realize that this guy was not going to give you his mandate unless it was up your butt, if you know what I mean. So what I'm talking about is he's pushed transgenderism so hard that the right is going, what the hell? He's pushed all kinds of odd social agendas instead of focusing on jobs and gaining attraction in our economy. And I did this thing about Democrats against free speech because the Democrats are coming out acting like I don't have the right to impersonate a president even though he's black. I have every right to impersonate the president, especially in 2014 when I did that thing on the Center for Disease Control when he literally brought in Ebola victims into our country. So yeah, satire is how we make statements that are a little bit more complex than just going out and hitting them issue by issue. So yeah, you have to look at the complexity of satire and parody to understand why I did what I did. And if you don't understand freedom of speech, you don't understand what this country was predicated on when we started. And being I'm a 16th generation American, I know more about that than most people, okay? And freedom of speech is what we do in my family. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming in. We are going to go ahead and bring you some videos tonight about the truth, the unvarnished truth about our country and how we're being led down the road to war by this weird new propaganda tool that is coming out of God knows where, the World Bank or the IMF's butt. Everything's coming out of somebody's butt tonight. And don't say I'm anally fixated, please. Thank you. And oh, talk about, yeah. We have a situation on our hands, and pushing us into war with Syria or Russia is the last thing we need. So why is our government being pulled around like the police force for the World Bank? Why are we being pushed to the edge of the brink of war with the players at all different points that want control over Syria? Well, this might reveal something. Wesley Clark's talking about it. He tends to have some interesting perspectives. Let me listen in on that. He was a guy that definitely knows more about it than most people. Let's listen in.
Generally, a lot of people would say you reap what you sow. So how do we fix self-radicalized lone wolves domestically?
Well, we've got to identify the people who are most likely to be radicalized. We've got to cut this off at the beginning. There are always a certain number of young people who are alienated. They don't get a job, they lost a girlfriend, their family doesn't feel happy here. And we can watch the signs of that, and there are members of the community who will reach out to those people and bring them back in and encourage them to look at their blessings here. But I do think on a national policy level, we need to look at what self-radicalization means, because we are at war with this group of terrorists. They do have an ideology. In World War II, if someone supported Nazi Germany at the expense of the United States, we didn't say that was freedom of speech. We put him in a camp. They were prisoners of war. So if these people are radicalized and they don't support the United States and they're disloyal to the United States as a matter of principle, fine, that's their right. It's our right and our obligation to segregate them from the normal community for the duration of the conflict. And I think we're going to have to increasingly get tough on this, not only in the United States, but our allied nations like Britain and Germany and France are going to have to look at their domestic law procedures.
General Wesley Clark, as always, great to see you, sir. Thanks for your time, and I want to pass along to our viewers.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff. Used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but We've got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran. The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa. The problem is the opposite. We keep asking for people to intervene and stop it. And there's no question that the presence of petroleum throughout the region has sparked great power involvement. Whether that was the specific motivation for the coup or not, I can't tell you, but there's always been this attitude that somehow we could intervene and use force in the region.